audio stuff. So as long as like
blocks out everything else.
Well, it's more of just like I don't have to have a receiver with it, so I can just like link it up afterwards.
Okay.
Which I think will be nice, and that was kind of my plan.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, when I did it last time with Vulcan, my cameraman, him and I, we just ended up just doing the audio version. And I overlaid on one of my bike rides with it, and I was like, it just didn't feel like right type of thing.
Yeah,
like it was cool, but it was just like it was interesting. But I was like, I'd rather just like even if I can't see something necessarily, but at least kind of have some of the audio linked up.
Okay.
I figured it'd be a little bit better way to go about that. So
That's fair.
yeah, dude. But I mean, otherwise everything's good with you still. Like none of that shit's still happening.
I mean, Carrie still hasn't done a one-on-one with me for the past month, but I started going back to my financial roots. So I sent a couple applications out for a few different companies that have advisor programs that they're 24 or 36 month programs to get the series test, get the SIE, do all that securities background, and then kind of just build your clientele from there. Go in office, they pay you a base salary while you're studying and doing all that. So I did an interview for that on Friday. I heard back from them today. They want me to come in person sometime this week. So we're setting that up. So I'm like, all right, there's some progress there.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And is that what you want to be doing then, or is that?
Yeah,
just...
that's what I want to get back into. I've been putting off getting the tests done for just reasons that I'm lazy, is really what it came down to.
Yeah.
So this year I'm like, all right, no matter if I have a job or not, I want to get these tests done. And that'll at least take me to another level for a professional career.
Because these were tests for like the financial stuff that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like market sharing and stock trading and getting all that information in there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because is that what you were doing beforehand then, or is this?
That's
still
what I was
just kinda
doing
like...
back in 21. But I still didn't have the security stuff then, and I didn't want to get it because I couldn't. It was 100% commission, so I was like, I need to work before I can study.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to study because I was trying to work. And I wasn't making enough money to study, and so it was just a whole bunch of screwing up that couldn't do it. So now I want to go back to it. Been thinking about it for 5 years, so I think that's my sign. Let's just do it. Just do it.
Like the girl that I was talking with, so I met a girl at Twin Peaks and I did a podcast with her, and she was talking about the same thing of how like she didn't want to work at Twin Peaks at first, like when she came, but then she ended up going through like this whole breakup and this whole like different like this whole thing, and then she's like, all right, now I'm gonna go back and do that. But it's like we always postpone the decision because like we don't want to do the decision. But then once we do the decision, it's like what we do afterwards is the thing that really matters. So like I'm glad to hear that. Like I mean, it took you 5 years to get to this point, but I mean, at least you like.
It wasn't. I mean, it's not. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be 5 years at the end for sure, but.
In 5 years, it's
2020 was the COVID and everything changed, so
COVID messed up everything.
that put me back like probably 2.5 years.
You and me both. So I felt like I was on a good path, good trajectory, and then all of a sudden, like.
Well, I was supposed to work full time for a financial advisor out of college, and then COVID hit, and they're like, we can't hire you on. That was my original path.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to move here. I was going to stay in Arizona. I had an internship with them for 1.5 years. Great, like, bonding, communication. Everything was good with it. They're like, dude, we can't hire you.
Really?
Because of COVID. And I was like, all right. And they're like, I have another opportunity. It's going to take me to Colorado. And they're like, take it. Like, we can't tell you not to. And so here I am. And then I tried to do it on my own, but not having a network in Colorado, as well as just being out of college and nobody wants to give anybody money for COVID, didn't go anywhere. Yep. I had a couple clients, but one client a month wasn't making my living. So, yeah.
Because is that what you're wanting to talk? Because I know last when you were texting, it's just like the people that don't follow through with their dreams. And I mean, there's been times too where I keep getting freaked out because I'm like.
Well, that was just me brainstorming that day.
But like those are like that's the thing. I'm like, I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good topic. Like I was just.
It's basically asking the question of why to everything. And I feel, in going back and going to relate it to the podcast, is like everybody seems to not want to ask why, even. If it's not culturally acceptable or if it just doesn't sound right, nobody wants to do it anymore. And how did we get to that, and how do we change that going forward?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've talked about it before. It's like, well, why do you want to make that money? What do you want to do with that money that you make? Oh, I don't know. That's up to me. Why? Like, why is it up to you? How is it up to you?
See, and it's better to ask how compared to why, because why is like an arbitrary question. Because you could
Yes.
ask, because like you can come up with any reason in the book, where it's just like, why can't I do this? Well, because I can't.
I can come
or
up with
because,
different
like,
reasons, right?
But it's just like, how can I, like, what's your reason for not wanting to do this thing?
Yeah.
Like, people say don't ask why questions, but then it's also like, don't ask how questions. So it's just like, what questions are you supposed to ask?
Nobody wants anybody to ask them questions.
No.
Is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Because a lot of it is just like, they just don't have the answers, or they don't know what the answers are. So it's just, it's tough, because it's just like, we could do all these other things. But then are we doing it for our own justification, or are we doing it because somebody else has told us that that's the thing that we should go on and do? And I think being able to identify like the difference between, okay, this is what I want versus this is what somebody else is telling me that I should have. Is like, I was like, once I got the money and I did the sales jump, I was like, okay, this is cool, but like the recognition, it just didn't bring me any sort
Wasn't
of
there,
additional
yeah.
fulfillment. Like, it was cool, but I was like, I want something more. So it's just like, that's why I had to go like look internally, because a lot of the stuff I feel like is internal compared to external.
And so, going to like 20, like even being raised, my parents always wanted me to go on the white collar financial platform.
Yeah.
And I don't think I wanted to, and a little bit of being a black sheep to them, but I didn't want it.
Yeah.
Now I want it. So now I'm gonna go full force into it.
Yep. Well, so I'm listening to a book right now. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it goes into the Adlerian psychology, I believe.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Viktor Frankl or not, but
I haven't.
he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He was a Jew in the Auschwitz camps during World War II, and he was the one that decided and said, like, no matter what they do to me, they can't make me decide or feel a certain way about said situation. So it was just kind of like the acknowledgement of like, regardless of what our parents or other people think of us, like, doesn't really determine like what our mood should be. We're the ones that get to decide that at the end of the day. Here, you want to give me a clip? And that was kind of his whole big takeaway, is like, they can do whatever they want to do to me. They can torture me, they can starve me, they can like freeze me or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he's the one that gets to decide how he receives that said impact. So it's like, this could be the worst thing that could happen, or this is the thing that's testing me because it's helping me get to this next
Well,
place.
it's like Unbreakable or Unbroken.
Unbroken?
That was another World War II movie.
Mm-hmm.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
just-
Unbroken. Yeah, with the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was another one. It's like they can do whatever I want, but it's only me that tells them I'm gonna quit.
Yep. Yeah, dude, like in that movie when I saw that and he's just holding the brick over his head, like at the end, I'm just like,
Yeah.
this dude just doesn't quit. I'm like, nobody else can break your will unless you allow somebody to. And that's the thing that I think too often we get confused about, is like, we put so much power and emphasis on what other people's opinions instead of our own. And then it makes us so like, oh, I'm not going to do this video, or I'm not going to do this podcast, or I'm not going to go for this job or something like that, because what is everybody else going to think? But it's like, what am I going to think?
Why? Well, I guess you cannot ask why, because you said it's arbitrary, but there's no other question to ask other than why in that one instance.
Well, it's just like, what's your reason for wanting to do this? Like, are you wanting to do this because you want to prove to yourself that you can, or are you wanting to do this to yourself because like there's some other inherent will within you, or just because you want to be better than you were yesterday? My whole thing is I just want to be better than I was yesterday, and I can look back and be like, I'm proud of who I have been,
Okay.
and things that I've accomplished. And that's why the last video that I did on my main channel was like a 7-hour and 23-minute video. And I just documented everything that I did through the month of December and just uploaded the raw thing.
Huh.
So I was just like, I'm doing it more for me. So
Yeah.
I want to go back and be able to be like, okay, this is what I did on December 3rd, 16th, 18th, 23rd, whatever it may be able to relay that story. Because too often, like when I was doing sales, like Evan would always say, he's just like, oh yeah, it'll be summer by this time, or it'll be winter, and then it'll be fall. And it's just like, I felt like life was just passing me by because I wasn't tracking. But like after I've tracked, it's like, oh, I've done a lot more than I ever thought I had.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've liked about this whole thing. But it's also just like, not everybody's gonna believe in me, but I just have to have the confidence in myself to be able to achieve said outcome.
It was really strange because I had a friend reach out to me recently, like basically just a happy new year, like catch up, how have you been? I'm like, well, what have you been doing? And I was like, oh, I've been going snowboarding, like just really mediocre things. Then I started thinking about it. I was like, I'm going snowboarding once or twice a week. I'm going to the gym 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. I'm doing work X hours a day. I'm still having a social life. It's like I break it down. I'm like, I'm doing a lot,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like anything.
Exactly. It's also like, because your definition, his definition of how you should live your life probably are two completely different ways. Like somebody might be like, oh, you're snowboarding too much, but you're like, dude, I'm not snowboarding enough.
Yeah.
So it's just like that change. Everybody's, from what I've come to realize, is just like everybody has been telling me like so when I was doing my government job and I was always working all the time and reading books and doing like podcasts, somebody would always tell me, she'd be like, do you have fun? And I was like, this is fun for me. Like I enjoy like doing these things and learning about these concepts and ideas. And she's like, you should go out and experience life, like go to the bars, like hang out with your friends. And I was like, to me that's not fun, but that was her way of like projecting her life on how I should be living compared to me living the way that I wanted to, which is the thing that I've always done.
Okay. Yeah. So somebody else has the idea of what your life should be, even though it has no relation to what you're doing.
Correct. Yeah.
Why do we let that influence us?
And that's like, it's a choice. It ties back to the whole like man's search for meaning and the courage to be disliked. We want to be accepted and feel like we are accepted by other people, so we allow ourselves to succumb to their way of thinking of us compared to living our life in the way that we see fit, because I feel like I actually know that that's the best way to live. It's just, it takes courage to be disliked and to be an outcast and as such. So it's just it's a much different view than what we've been told as society is like, you need to look outside of yourself to find happiness, like buy the car, buy the house, have the girlfriend, have the dogs, have the house, have all these things, but it's just like, have all the money, but does that bring any sort of fulfillment? It's like, for me personally, no. Like I'd rather have like, look at within myself and come to that realization or the acceptance of like, this is who I am and this is what I want. Either you can like it or you can't.
Yeah. That's fair.
You're not 25. So it's just a different approach because I've allowed other people to dictate like my life. Like it's the reason why I left the company was because I think I've told you this before too, was they were telling me not to ask certain questions of certain people. I think we wore the same sweats too, possibly.
It looks like it.
I love it, man. I love it. But no, they were telling me not to ask certain questions of certain people, and I was like, you're telling me not to speak like how I want to speak, like I don't want to be at a company like this. Like
Yeah.
I get that, like maybe I should have kept it a little bit more professional and I shouldn't have asked personal questions, but it's also like I can't dictate how somebody feels with a question that
I was
I'm
going to
asking.
say, people are emotional and they can take emotions in however option they want.
Exactly.
Whether they like it or not is not for me to justify or to worry about.
It's not my task to worry about
Yes.
how somebody feels after something that I have said to them. Like that's not my responsibility.
Agreed.
Just like their responsibility or my responsibility for them is if I get upset over something that they said, like it shouldn't take anything out of context. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I haven't done like an actual leg workout in like 2 weeks. This is going to be interesting.
I told you, my legs are already shot, so I don't know how well it's going to go for me. 'Cause I went hard. I did legs on Friday, I think. My whole schedule's been off lately, like because I took off a couple of days.
I wasn't coming in here on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of last week because of New Year's. I was just refused to. So I just went running. Like that was it.
How much running have you been doing?
Last week I did about 10 miles.
Okay. Like in one go, or you're doing
No,
like-
in a couple different days. I
Okay.
normally do 2 or 3 miles a day,
Yeah.
depending on. I used to do like a 5K every 2 weeks, but that was back when I lived at Sloan's Lake, and
Yeah.
Sloan's Lake was literally a 5K around, and it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Since then, I started going over to that park right over there, and that's like a 1.6 loop, so do that twice, you're right around a 5K
Yep.
ish. So I did that, and then just around my neighborhood is like a square mile block. So I just do that 2 or 3 times.
It's fun, man. Like I love it.
It's not, I mean, it's nice. I was trying to do it with headphones, without headphones, to get a little different mindset and different thoughts that go through the head. And
Which one have you found to like more?
for pace, with music.
Yeah.
But for just days that I just need to get away from everything, it's just nice to hear the birds chirp, the wind coming by you. Like, I don't know, you
Do
just
you ever get-
appreciate things more.
Do you ever smoke and go on a run? Dude, that's
Edible. I think I won't smoke. I take an edible,
Bro.
and then go on a run.
everything ceases to exist when I do that. Like I can just run for miles, no questions asked. But I know a good.
I've been finding I haven't found my like breathing rate that I like to with the edible because I feel like it throws that off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely way slower, but I just enjoy it more. And I'll also be out there for like 50 minutes because I'll start walking. And I'll start looking around in nature. I'll take a different road that I will. It's like, it's just it's just fun. It's just fun.
Right? This looks quite nice. Three, 4, 5.
We're at 7. I don't know what you're counting.
Shit, dude. Making you do 2 more
9,
reps.
10.
Does it feel high to you today? Like the
A
bar?
little bit. I did check it.
I'm usually at 5 too. Do you want to lower it to 6?
I think 6 would be too low.
See, that's what I'm saying too.
Because 6 are down here.
Mm-hmm. But 5 just, maybe I'm just used to doing low bar as of late. I'm not sure. So it's not another 45. I'm gonna be obnoxious here. Don't use that one.
I understand it. I do. I do. Is this heavier or lighter?
I feel like it's just bigger. I feel like it's
Heavier or lighter?
I feel like it's a little heavy, lighter. I
Yes, yeah, it's a little lighter. It's a little lighter.
Bit. It just doesn't.
It's less dense, so I feel like it's not as heavy.
That's what I'm saying. It's just it doesn't feel right. Some people will get mad at me for being like, no, all the weights are the same. And like, bro, the weights
They're
aren't the
not.
same.
They're not.
They aren't. As much as you wish they were, they aren't even.
If we go
close
get
to
the
fucking
45s
same.
up there on the leg press, they're gonna feel heavier than those ones.
Exactly. No, and I think it's just like, but like these are, what is it called, powerlifting weights type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's just like 2 completely different
Bumpers.
things. Yeah. Well, yeah, dude. There's a trail that I run. It's back in like the Highland. Like it's off of, actually near Daniels Park, which is gorgeous.
Okay.
And I ended up going out there last time. And it's just like single track back into the country type of thing.
Okay.
And I just ran and ran and ran. So I think I might have told you the last time I got stoned and I ended up running with a friend of mine, I just kind of left him in the dust. Like I got so high and so in my head, dude. Or like I stopped and I'm just like,
Where'd he go?
like shit, dude. So I felt so bad. So I'm like, either I have to tell people when I get stoned with them, I'm like, hey, like if I leave you, I apologize. I just get so
This is
focused.
my own world.
Because like I get how you're saying you can't find the breath. I just find like one foot after
You
another
find
after
that.
another.
You find that.
that rhythm.
I even past that. You find that euphoric state, and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nothing else in the world matters to me, and this is all I'm focused on, so this is all that I end up doing.
Yeah. I do that snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll get stoned before we go snowboarding.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, that was one run. Like that felt like nothing.
Right.
Let's do it again. And then recently I've been starting to do a little bit more tricks, trying to do some spins and whatnot. And so Saturday I was working on a lot of spins, and I was definitely a little too high for them because I landed, I just couldn't find an edge.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things I just fell and I was like, look up at this guy, and I'm sitting there for like a minute. Heather comes by, she's, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm just having a great time, just look it up.
Yeah.
She's like, you were down for a second. I was like, I'm just looking at everything.
I'm just experiencing life right now.
Yeah, it was great.
That's always why it's been hard for me to bring other people around with the things that I do, because everybody's like, are you good? Like, do you need to slow, like, can you stop? Like, why are you just laying here type of thing? And I'm just like, dude, I'll worry about me, you worry about you. Like, and I get that you
Yeah.
want us to be supportive of the other person, you want to help them out, but it's also like, I'll push you, but I'm also like, I need a break type of thing. So it's hard for me finding that balance between like bringing other people with me versus me just doing it on my own. Like you and Steve and a couple of other people that I've lifted with, like you guys can push me. There's other people where I'm just like, if we aren't at like the same level, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just like the pushing aspect's a little
Well, you
different
always
type of
want to
thing.
take advice or take that next step with somebody that's already there or really close to it, at least,
Yep.
or at the same level as you.
Exactly.
So I get it. Like, I don't want to hear, well, you could snowboard better if you did this from some guy that just started snowboarding last year. I'll
Yep.
be like, you could go fuck yourself.
Yep. You're like, yeah, sure.
Like, no, that's just not going to happen. It's not
No.
going to fly. But for somebody that has a backcountry experience, has 30 years there, that like that professional that we were talking about before, I'll listen to them for hours.
True. Yeah.
Right? It's like you could tell me a story from 1996 in December, and you could tell me all these things, and if you say, but avalanche conditions or resorts was this style, something like that, I'm going to be in tune.
True. Yeah, I guess I am the same way because I'll only take advice, or I'll take advice from everybody, but I only implement if it's something that I'll change places with.
So let's switch that to more professional.
All right.
How does somebody that's just starting in the professional world, even yourself and then me in the finance, how do we get those people to listen to us with only a certain amount of experience?
So I look at it as we have. Okay. So
Do your lift. Yep.
So the best way to do it is by just kind of looking at it as, so I'm here and maybe they're here. So like I'm here and they're here. So all I'm doing is helping them get up to here. Once they're here, by that time, like I'm most likely going to be here. So I'm just helping them just get just
One step
one
further.
step. Because too often what I would always do is so like with the sales job that you and I had, well, I had, you have.
Hopefully I won't have it by the end of the year or end of the month.
Yeah, you'll still probably have a sales role of some sort, just a different one.
Finance is still sales. It's just selling a service rather than a product.
Correct. So like I would look at it as in terms of like the top person at the company, like I want to be in their shoes. What do I have to do to be able to get in their shoes? Talk with them, talk with everybody else below them, do the things that everybody else below them is doing and has told me that has made them successful, implement those things for myself so that then I can be at the top such as that other person. So it's a matter of like, if that person is there, it's just implementing those skills and the things that they say, because most of it, actually, I feel like all the time, people aren't going to steer you the wrong way, because like success does, like, I've always been somebody that's like fully open and transparent with what I do. So like if I'm that way, there's a strong likelihood that other people are the exact same way when it comes down to these types of things. So I feel like the best thing is like to implement what somebody else is doing. If say you are in the place that they want to be, and just implement those said things. So like the person that you could be working with or somebody else that you'd be working with is just start doing the thing that that person's doing. I did the thing that Lucy and Drew were doing at the company. It worked when I was there. Like, I mean, like there was insight and like lessons that I did have that like helped me get to that point. Now how everything else transpired afterwards, like that's a whole different, like that's
That's
like,
a different chapter. Yeah.
So I just look at it in terms of like, I'm just gonna do what the successful people do. Like I did a startup for a little while too, and I was like, I was just started making calls like I did at Bottom Line, and when I did that, like I was able to close deals like I was at Bottom Line. So I'm like, it's the same thing, it's just in a different industry. Once you have said skill and you acquired it through like trial and error, I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of the time people don't implement on said knowledge or said skill. I know I've been guilty of that in the past. But like just when I walked in, I was talking with Rob and Tyler, and they're like, oh yeah, you said you were gonna do this like YouTube content stuff, and look, now you are. It's like you're a man of your word. It's like, yeah, like that's what I do. It's just sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get to that point. And I think that's the thing that we sometimes forget, is that it does take time to build up to that thing, because like it's a skill, like lifting weight, like the weight never becomes less heavy, we just become stronger.
Yeah, like we didn't used to just jump to 225 years and years ago, but here we are. Like,
Yeah.
And now we're gonna talk through it.
Exactly. Like it's still heavy as shit, don't get me wrong, but it's just like it's a different. It's like the guy that I was talking to in the elevator the other day, because I was like, hey, do you have any wisdom for a guy in his 20s? And he was in his 60s or 70s, retired. His wife died, so he ended up moving out to Colorado because he lived out in New York for a while. And he told me, he's just like, it doesn't ever get easier. You just become stronger. And I was just like, interesting. Because like we just like the skills and the things that we acquire just makes everything less hard.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it makes sense. So, would you rather have somebody that you know has all the skills, but not the experience, versus somebody that has all the experience, but may be lacking on the skills?
Well, would you not say that the skills come with the experience?
Yes, but you start to take shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
So,
Also, is it a shortcut, or is it just like you know the skills and you have acquired the said knowledge so that you can skip the line and take a little bit quicker path than somebody that doesn't
it's not
have
always
that?
better though.
I think that comes down to the journey. Like, do you enjoy the journey and the process that you like doing? Because there's been multiple times where like I probably could have, not even probably, I know I could have done this a decade ago type of, not a decade, but like a lot
years,
of
a couple
sooner.
years ago. Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm gonna enjoy the process. I'm gonna enjoy the journey because I think it's kind of like you're saying, like when you're snowboarding, like sometimes you'll just lay down and you look up at the stars and like the trees and the lights and everything like that. I look at like success the same way. It's like I might as well just enjoy the journey because like once I started making the money at doing the sales, I was like,
What's the point of this?
yeah, I was like, now I want to do something that's going to challenge me a lot more than something else would. So it's like climbing up the mountain. It's like it's challenging on the way up, but the down is like such a euphoric feeling. And I think I like that more. So I think I would rather be with somebody that has the experience first because like then they have a lot more firsthand knowledge. Because like you can have the skills, you can read all the books in the world, but if you don't implement anything up from it, like is there any practical knowledge from said like knowledge that you acquired? And I don't think there is. Yeah, no.
What about if that person has the experience, but they have the experience, can't teach an old dog new tricks. There's some method, there's some different mindsets that can come about. Would you still go with that experienced person, or would you take a chance on the skills, but not the experience? Is there ever a time you take a chance on the skills rather than experience?
I feel like it would depend on what skills they have or what they're offering. So like, let's say somebody's very skilled in woodworking and they've been woodworking skills like for half a decade by themselves in their own garage. I'd probably compare to say somebody that just became a carpenter but has like just got a brand new job at a house. I'd probably hire the person that has the skills of doing his own carpentry work than somebody that had just got hired at a company that has never done woodworking in the past.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I just feel like that's a better way of looking at it because but I do still think that they are synonymous and they do go hand in hand, even if it doesn't seem like they do at the time. Oh. You want to go past 225 today or what?
Yeah, I'll throw 25s on.
I'm not going to do an extra set if I don't have to.
I was looking at the 10s. I was like, nah, we can't have the 10s.
Dude. Oh.
You got it.
Yeah.
You did Squat-tober. This is just 2 days, so not 30.
That was the whole training regimen and like routine and shit like that. All right.
How many?
I'm gonna aim for 5. We'll see, but just kind of broke my
I think my
concentration.
goal is gonna be 3.
All right, give me a second.
Is this recording video?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see a red light. That's why I was
It's
curious.
on the back, I think. At least it should be. I'm hoping it is. It's like I said, the last one, it just didn't feel like I'm probably just gonna upload the whole raw clip too. So I was thinking of it this way, like let's say people are getting into lifting or something like that, or they want to go lifting but they don't have a partner, and they want to listen because like typically when I would be at the gym, I'd be listening to podcasts and things like that. So it's like with this, it's like you're talking, and once like maybe the talking stops, it's like all right, that's when I do my set as well too.
Fair, yeah. That's when you sit down and shut up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Right. All right, he's shut up now, so I gotta shut up and do my set type of thing. Okay, we'll try 5.
This is not the recommended rest time.
Dude, it's been like 2 minutes. Ooh, I don't know what that is.
You got it? This man said he was going for 5. He has to do one more just for the fun.
I had to do one more for good luck.
Just for the fun.
For good luck. I heard some popping in my knee or my ankle or something like that, and I was like, I do not know what that is, but
Don't know what that is. Let's not find out.
I didn't do it on on the 4th one, so I was like, I should be good. Yeah, which one do you think is more valuable, skills or experience?
Experience. But as I'm trying to think of how I want to launch the financial business, how do I get past the question of you have all the skills, where's the experience? And obviously I'm gonna have to partner with people with the experience to get that and then gain the knowledge, as you said, the one step up. So I just gotta find somebody that's, I'm not gonna get to the CEO that's 10 steps up, but to that somebody that's been there for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
They might be more inclined to help me because they were in my shoes more recently. So if they're that 2 steps up, I'm down here, I gotta find somebody that's a little bit lower. And exactly as you said, 1 step up is I move 2 steps up.
Exactly. Yeah, because like they'll just move and you move and it's just one thing after another. Because there's always going to be somebody that's better or stronger than you.
Yeah.
It's also
always.
like.
And Jim is a key example of that, right? We can come in here one day and right now, we're pretty
Dude,
good.
There was a dude.
And then we go over to Steve and he's benching 365 at 60 years old plus.
Yep.
Like,
Which I think it's his birthday either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure.
okay.
So I was hoping to see him
I
today.
think I see him somewhere over there.
Yeah. Say it's up to him
He's on
here
the
in a sec.
bench.
Sweet. Yeah, it is Monday. So that's where it would be. No, but like, fuck. I saw a dude yesterday, 4 plates, what is that, 405, plus 50, 455. He was in the hole, like he'd go down and just be here.
And just hold. Was he kind of a shorter guy, a little stockier with the beard?
I don't know if he had a beard or not, but he was a little kind of. But I was just like, dude, fucking strong as shit, bro. Like, and he was just in the hole for like 5-10 seconds, and I was just like, and he came out of it, and I was like, really? All right.
I think I know who you're talking about. And I went up to ask him. I was like, all right, you got to compete, right? He goes,
Yeah.
yeah. And he competed. If it's the same person, he competed back in like early December, and he was going for 535. And he was like, I saw him at 405 warm up, and he's like, yeah, this is lightweight. He made that look like my 135.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is
Dude.
absurd.
I'm just like, it was just the food for me that like stopped me from doing that whole thing. But it was also so like with you, so like with the experience and the skills, I look at it as kind of like, let's say you're getting your first job or something like that too. Like it's like you need to have 2-3 years of experience, but like how are you supposed to get the experience without having the job first? So it's kind of the same thing. Like you just have to reach out to enough people, and there will be that one person that'll just be like, yeah,
Let's do it.
I got you. I'll help you out. It's a whole numbers game, dude. Like that's why I'm like under the mentality of Max. I can't think of his last name right now, but he has the theory of like just one more. You don't know if that next video, that next conversation, that next podcast, the next girl, the next business partner is going to be the one that completely changes your life. So that's why I've always just been like, just one more set, one more rep, one more interaction, because I never know which one's going to be the one that leads me to the next place that I need to get to.
Is there ever a time that one more might hurt you?
That might what?
That might hurt you?
Possibly. I'd rather take that opportunity of being hurt in the process than miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime.
So it's worth the risk.
Exactly.
Okay.
I feel like everything worth the risk. Like it's the whole quote, like the fortune favors the bold. Kind of have to be bold in your processing. You got 5 in you.
I was thinking 4.
All right, go for 4.
I was 3 with 1 more, you know? You gotta hit the 1 more now.
Just see it in your mind's eye first. Two. 3. 4. 5. Attaboy.
Woo.
Shit. No, you had 5.
Yeah, I got 5. Yeah.
Undersell yourself. Don't have to do that.
Where do we go from here?
I don't want to, but we'll do 315.
What'd you say?
You know what I said.
You know what I said. Yeah, you're right, I did.
This time we can like this time of like
We're gonna go with the light ones, huh?
it's the third one that like fuck dude. All right, let's see how this goes. Give it a minute.
315 is gonna be a little.
There's probably only gonna be 1, maybe
Yeah.
2. Let's see.
That's what I thought.
So I did this the other day too. Oh yeah, you know how I said I had a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I should have. Okay, so this is my fuck up on my part.
We're still recording, yeah?
Yeah, I've talked to her about this, so it's all good. And I've talked about it on other channels too that I have. So like, I don't. My whole thing with my channel and my concept is like full open transparency. So it's just like, if you don't want to say something, you don't have to say something. But for me, I'm just
You're
like,
just gonna openly like, got it.
I really don't care at this point. Like, I care, but I don't.
How much can you do with that information to hurt me, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if somebody says something like that's on them, like I can't. It ties back to what we were saying earlier. too.
Exactly.
So it's just
Goes
like,
right
it's the
back
courage
to
to
it.
being disliked. And if people don't like me for saying these types of things, then okay.
It's not gonna let me ruin my
It's
day.
not, no, it's not going to stop me because
Yeah.
it is like, it's all about how I receive said interaction or scenario. But yeah, no, so I originally should have just had her as a client and first instead of like taking it further, because I was listening to this lecture from the psychologist that I listened to online, and he gave this quote. He's like, eventually there's going to come a time when you sleep with one of your clients and you have to wonder, are you sleeping with a client because it's for you or for them? And I was just like, shit. So I was like, in the beginning, I'm like, I should have just made her a client in the first place because that was my intuition, like that was my full intent. And then I sat in the hot tub with her and I was like, she looks kind of good. So, and then it just kind of like snowballed from there, yeah. So now I know, like, trust my intuition, believe like what I have on the inside, and if it tells me not to do this, then don't do this. But it also ties back to like, that's just the level of success. Like, you have to make mistakes in order to find like what not to do next time. And I think too often I've seen other people that like they won't try certain things because they're afraid of failing. Whereas me, I was just like, I'll try this. I know I messed up and I know I screwed up. It's a thing that I'll learn from and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Okay. So what you're saying is you had the skills, but not the experience, and you felt it on the experience.
Correct.
Yeah. Interesting how that all ties in.
Dude, everything ties in. I don't know if you ever checked out the podcast that I had with Simon, where it's like there's a common thread to every conversation. And every conversation, like, there's always a common thread. It's just a matter of like trying to find it.
Linking it together.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I'm like that I got good from doing sales and just talking with people, is by knowing like, okay, now I can tie this idea back to this said thing. So I took an aptitude test a couple days ago, which I don't know if you've ever taken one of those at all or not. Highly recommend it, but apparently I'm much more on like the abstract type of thinking, so I can connect different ideas that most people
That
wouldn't.
checks out.
So, and they say it's good for like entrepreneurs and
Just
business
knowing how
owners.
we conversate, I think I might be on that spectrum
Yeah,
as well.
probably.
Yeah.
I feel like, I get a lot with people that think in the same ways that I do, so I can see that
Yeah.
being the case.
At least in some topics.
Yeah, dude, almost all topics too, because like even the first, like I treated the first podcast, like the things that we were talking about afterwards, like those were more things that I was like, this is what it's like. Don't get me wrong, like you telling me about Backcountry was valuable. I just think it was more genuine after what we like talked about.
Well, yeah, like today we don't have a specific agenda of what we want to hit. It's just let it ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been my whole thing with this whole channel and this whole idea is I'm like, because I want to make it as easy for people to be like, oh, so this is how you talk with people.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Speaking
how
of,
you
I have to,
communicate.
make sure I'm active on.
Oh yeah, you're still working too.
Yeah.
Dude, see,
Don't tell on me anybody.
Hey, I won't tell you. You already said you're trying not to be there too in a couple of months, so.
It's just new opportunities.
Dude, it's just, yeah.
This year, do you have a New Year's resolution this year? Or anything, maybe not a resolution per se, but something you just want to focus on?
So it's just primarily focused on YouTube, like
Yeah.
not getting distracted, because I've been distracted by all these other like shiny objects things, and it's just like the one thing that, so like I tried coaching last month and I did well with that, but it's just like, do I really want to do coaching? It's like, if I
Yeah.
need to, like I can. It's like sales too. It's like, do I really want to do that? It's like, but I can. My main thing is I just want to focus on YouTube, making content, making videos that are genuine and authentic to me, and just tracking my life over these next couple of months. If I have to go back to doing sales or like something else, then by all means. But I have other ideas. Like I think I told you this last time too, or maybe not. I typically review, like my year review comes when I turn, like when my birthday comes. So like the day
Okay.
before my birthday is when I typically review last year, because that's when my year technically starts. My year doesn't start on January 1st.
I get
It
that.
starts on May 1st, whereas like everybody else is like, oh, it's a new year, but it's like, it's not a new year for you. Like it's a new year, yes, but it's not like a new year type of thing.
Got it.
So I always review everything at the end of April, and then I look back. So like my whole resolution for this year has just been like going full in on this and like doing things that I never thought I could do, and just kind of seeing where it takes me from there. You have anything that you're trying to do? As of right now?
Education
Yeah.
goes with the new job, goes with the finance that I want to get into, but I've been putting off taking this test basically since I got out of college. I could give numerous different reasons why. They're all BS reasons.
Yeah.
So this year I want to sit down and I want to get those tests. And by 2025, I want to have my SEC licenses. I want to have the series. I want to at least get that. Whether I have a job in it or not, I still want to know that for my personal factor of I did this and nobody else could tell me that they didn't want me to see it or didn't want to see me do it.
Yeah.
So that's just, I want to get education back then. I thought about going back and maybe looking into a master's program. We'll see how that goes, because that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. Which is it? Would the return from doing a master's program like that be worth it then?
In finance, I could see it worth it. Because an MBA on the back of your name with 3 other designations would be definitely a jump up. As far as that experience we were talking about, it would go into that. The skill set would be much, much larger. It's again the 2 or 3 years though of dedicating to that program, and as well as making an income to do that, which is another big thing, right? Because U.S. schools sucks.
What about you? What about going overseas for school then?
I've thought about moving out of the country so many times in the past year.
What's been holding you back?
Job, really, and just not knowing. And also, I've never been on that side of the pond. I've been to Mexico, Australia, New Zealand. I've just never been to Europe, and I would want to go. I think I'd want to be in Europe. I just don't know, and it's hard finding the actual people that have experiences that have been like, this is how I did it, and this is what I like to change with it. So I'm nervous to jump that gun, as well as leaving everything else back in the U.S. and family, friends, roots.
How much of it would you truly be leaving though?
Not much.
Because like,
It's just the unknown.
the fear of the unknown?
It's the fear of the unknown, exactly.
Better to be with the devil that you know than the one that you don't. All right, give me a sec.
We know the 315. We got this.
Jesus, dude, it's a fucking right. I could have done. But nope, we're doing one.
One, that's good. I'm trying to figure out if I want to put the belt on or not. If you made that look easy, I might have second thought that.
Yeah, well, I did legs 3 days ago, like I
Yeah,
said. so-
yeah. And I snowboarded 20 miles 2 days ago. So, what are you telling me, huh?
Not to be a bitch like me.
Don't be a bitch about it. There's an artist that I've seen numerous times, and I very much enjoy them. Name's Easy Baked, EDM artist and deep bass. And I saw them at a festival in Wakan in October. And it was in the middle, it's in Arkansas, in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And there were some crazy spiders at our campsite. And they were playing at 3:30 in the morning in this back, like down, like we were in the woods for this stage. And he gets on the microphone, he's, holy fuck, there's a spider right here. And he goes, I'm not gonna be a bitch about it. And you just see him like on the stage just swatting at it. And they're still playing music, they're still playing their set. And he goes, guys, just don't be a bitch about life, go do it. And since then, I've basically just said in my mind, if somebody says, oh, you can't do that, I'm like, don't be a bitch about it, let's go.
Don't be a
Just
bitch.
let's go.
That's it. I mean,
I want them printed on a t-shirt.
probably use t-shirts that have that already, like just don't be a bitch about it. But that would be a pretty cool branding too.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's everything. It's everything. we
Yeah.
do.
I mean, like I always say, like I'm like, let's go, bitch boy. But then it's like, all right, nice work. Like, and I probably shouldn't do that like negative self-talk type of thing. I do my best not to.
It works for
Sometimes,
some,
like,
it doesn't work for others.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't like when somebody's yelling at me, telling me to do something like that. I'm just like, you guys.
Yeah, if you were to be like, you're a bitch, we can't put this up right now, I'd be like, hold on.
Yep.
Wait a second.
Yeah, no, I've never, and like the whole yelling thing, I was talking about that with Vulcan the other day, and it's just like, I can't do that type of thing. Like, if somebody's yelling at me to get the setup or like pushing me down, like, it's just like, that doesn't help me build muscle. I feel like the statute of return is less than what I would get if like I just like took it at my pace type of thing. And I think that's probably an ego thing where it's just like the ego comes and is like, all right, I'm gonna overcome, like I want to prove to somebody how strong I am, but it's just like, you don't have to prove to anybody.
In your own way,
You
though.
prove to yourself
Yeah.
how strong you are.
Exactly. All right.
Easy work.
Lightweight.
Lightweight, baby.
Lightweight.
Oh,
I could hold it there.
oh,
I was like, I could hold it here for a while. It's just not going up. Damn.
did you need my help on that one then?
Maybe.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know if you were going to pause Brett, for a second, but
I got down there. The hips felt great, which is nice, knowing that they're nice and loose, but I lost all the power.
because I saw you come up and then I saw you go like just back down, and I was like, all right, yeah.
Oi.
I mean, I only took like 20 pounds off of it for you, so maybe even 10.
It wasn't much.
No,
I just got to work on the flexibility a bit more.
I wasn't expecting to have to spot you, so.
I wasn't expecting to eat it.
I don't know if you want to do working sets at 225 or if
Yep.
you'd rather go do.
Let's do 225.
That'll work.
How many do you want to do?
3 sets of 5.
That's what I was thinking.
Fuck, dude, but yeah, it's. Cause like, so as you were talking about, like, hey, you don't know if you have anything here per se. Like, I feel like I'm the same way. Like, I love the people that I have here, but it's also like I gotta live my life in the way that I want to live my life.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's like you have to let go of certain people and aspects that like you hold dear to you, but it's like in the long run, if they truly love you, then they will understand that you're making the best decision for you. And if they don't, then like that's their loss. And we always seem to. So like, I look at it in terms of like, let's say my parents said something or friends said something to me that like I didn't agree with all that much, but like since they're family and I'm close to them, I may disregard that and be like, okay, it's cool. But if a stranger and somebody else that I wasn't super close with said that exact same thing, how would I react?
Yeah.
So it's like, where's this disconnect come from between like somebody that I'm close with versus somebody that I'm not? What if everybody and everyone is all the same?
Well, you trust. You know where they've been. You trust their opinion, right?
Mm-hmm. But they don't know where you've been.
But those friends, that family, I'm sure they've heard about you for years from your family.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have an idea of where they go. They probably have an idea, hopefully, of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have an idea of what your parents want you to do.
Yep.
So they want to put their input, whether that's needed, most likely not.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it can be helpful versus somebody off the street came up to us and said, you need to do X, Y, Z. I'd be like, how do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
What wizardry do you have? Like, but on what grounds and what premise are you saying that?
Mm-hmm. Well,
So-
have you read the book The Alchemist by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I'm just getting through the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Mark Manson?
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think of it so far?
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it and then I went on an edible run.
Yeah.
And one thing that stuck with me was he was a terrible person.
Yeah.
I can't like get over. So the fame didn't get to him, but he just was continually a shitty person.
Yeah.
But he accepted it. So not that I'm a shitty person, not that anybody needs to be a shitty person to accept it, but what in his brain, and I haven't gotten there yet, so I could be in the book, but switch to I'm just going to be who I am and not give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
Much easier said than done.
It's a lot less difficult than you may think it is.
Yeah.
So, because his concepts, and it's the same concept from a lot of like self-development, personal growth books. Because, so I don't know how much you know about Mark Manson, but he was also in like The Game, which I think maybe you're familiar with The Game, like the whole red pill community
Yeah.
of like how to pick up women. He originally, one of his first books he wrote was Models, and I think he might have read another one too, but that was also a decent book that I listened to, and it talked about how he was like a shitty person type of thing, and he started going down this whole route of like this or not giving a fuck. And the way that it's been able to change, and I relate this to Psycho-Cybernetics by Mark Maxwell is his last name. Great book as well too. But it goes into like, it's a matter of changing your self-image of how you view yourself on the inside. So like he just understand how to, at least this would be what because I've been doing it myself. So it's like I could see how you do it too. It's just you accept who you are on the inside, but you change it as like, so let's say you're tying your shoe one way, like you do two bunny ears, and you tie your shoe that way for your entire life. And that could be you being like a shitty person type of thing because you tie your shoes that way, and I'd be like, you're terrible for tying your shoes this way. But it's like, I know a better way to tie my shoes where I make one bunny
Do
ears,
the
and
one loop,
I loop,
and
and
then,
then
yeah,
I
that's
pull
how I
through.
tie my shoes.
And, like, but like you didn't know that at first, at least I didn't. Like I had always done the two bunny ears
That's
before I
how
started
we
doing
were
the loop.
probably taught when we were 2-3 years old.
Exactly. So if we can learn and change how we tie our shoes, then who says we can't learn and change how we also interact with ourselves and how we perceive the world as well too?
can't teach your dog new tricks. Where is that going to lie in?
Who says that you can't teach your dog new tricks?
Okay.
Because like,
So that's just a flutter of imagination for society.
correct.
Okay.
Because like, how many dogs do you know? Like, it's the whole Pavlov's theory. Like, if you train the dog, you can teach the dog new tricks. It's just I think a lot of the times people don't want to be taught new tricks because they're happy with where they are.
Because they're
And if
lazy.
you're- Exactly.
The same
Well,
reason I didn't do my test for the past couple years.
It also could not be lazy. It could just be an unwillingness to change or wanting to change.
Wanting to change, for sure.
Because it's like the story that we tell ourselves, we're going to create a scenario that's going to keep us where we want to be kept. And if we don't want to be there, then we have to change it within ourselves. But then it comes back to the courage to be disliked and not give a fuck about what everybody else is thinking.
All right. Lightweight now, actually.
Fuck, dude. It's so heavy as shit.
There you go. You were grunting a lot on that 3, that's why.
I had to pause. Dude, so like when I used to do squats and legs,
You used to be way lower.
what?
You used to be lower on your back,
Yeah,
weren't you?
I used to do low bar, but like I'm talking like when I lived in Grand Junction. So like I'd do squats and I'd come up here and I'd just be like,
Okay.
shake my legs out to give me the illusion of rest, even though I'm still carrying that
Even though
weight
you're
on
still
my back.
loaded. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, dude. A lot of it is just, it's a matter of like, do we want to change or do we not want to change? And if we don't want to, like, 'cause I was thinking about this last night. So like I was in my apartment, I was like, I never thought I would have been in an apartment like I have right now. But it happened. Like I ended up there.
What do you mean by that?
So like I didn't think that I would be in an apartment that has like floor to ceiling windows and I can see it. It's better for me to keep it on here. But no, like I didn't think that I would have a floor to ceiling windows, but like I'd always loved lights. So like whenever I was in Grand Junction, I go like drive up to like Lookout Mountain. I always loved looking over the city lights.
Okay.
Because it was just gorgeous. So I found somehow I got an apartment that had that exact same thing. So like I can look out at night and I see all the city lights and then I see the mountains of everything like out in front of me and I just get a view of like the foothills. and all the
You
mountains.
get your little piece of bliss inside your apartment.
Correct, but I never would have imagined that that would have even existed if I wouldn't have like had a conversation with Dylan and then hung out with him one night to go party. So it's always, it ties back to like, just takes that one conversation, that one interaction, that one opportunity
That
saying
one more.
yes, that brings me to this new place.
Therefore, the risk outweighs the reward outweighs the risk.
So like, that's why when you say like you're lazy, it's like, are you really lazy or are you just like telling yourself that you're lazy because you've done lazy things in the past? But there's been other things that you probably have done as well too. Like you could say Apex Legend or selling. It's just like there's probably times when you aren't lazy in the game. Like you're doing your best to be able to win said match.
True.
So you're not being lazy. Like if you were lazy in that video game,
It's just different.
it's a matter of just reframing the same scenario, but like looking at it from a different angle.
Okay. 5?
Yeah.
I don't think I need a spot here. And if I do, I should just go home.
Nah, dude, you got it. You got it locked in the bag. You don't need to go home if you can't get 5.
But that's a bit extreme, I guess.
If you only get 1, then yeah, you should probably go. But yeah.
We don't judge here, right?
No,
Wait
no
a second.
No judgment unless it's 1. Then, yeah.
This is why I think I need to work out from home. I need social interaction.
Yeah, that's why like we're social creatures, but I also like my alone time too. So it's a conundrum, dude.
It is.
It's like I need time to recover. 1, 2. Like I watched all of Gen V last night, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I also had like an empty feeling in my chest. So I was like, is it really worth me doing this? But it's also like I enjoy like doing things like that from time to time. Because last month, dude, like everything that I did, like yes, it excited me, but also at the same time, it kind of drained me. So it's like I need to find the balance between like watching TV/movies and like interacting with other people, and it's something that I'm trying to understand by setting like clear boundaries and like expectations of like, hey, this is what I am doing and this is where I'm at right
The thing that I started doing 2 weeks ago, just before the new year, because I got a new phone, and I've been trying to cut my time on my phone.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, basically the big social media platforms that I use just for scrolling, put an hour limit on all of those for combined. So 1 hour per day combined. I hit that by like 9:45 in the morning.
Are you serious? What do you
I
do?
wake up and I don't want to start calling people.
Of course.
Wake up at 7:30 in the morning, so
Okay.
I'm online.
Yeah.
I'm going through, I'll do emails, I don't know, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
So I just start scrolling, all of a sudden 5 minutes, put it down, do work, 10, 15 minutes, another minute goes by, a couple of minutes later, bored again, start scrolling. I want the dopamine rush, right?
Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out what can I do outside of the phone to get the dopamine rush. Started doing 10 push-ups rather than going to my phone.
Smart. Is that working?
It's been working,
Yeah.
just going outside, like literally just stepping outside my back door, taking a couple deep breaths in, go back inside, work for 15 more minutes.
Yep.
But it's training myself and shifting that mindset of I don't need the phone. Let me put it away. Another thing I started doing was I finally got the watch that I was telling you about two months ago, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to get a watch that has service on it, that way I don't have to have my phone. I got that with the phone, of course, but I've just started leaving my phone at home, like when I'm going grocery shopping, snowboarding. I just left it in the truck.
Yeah.
So I can listen to music, I can do everything I need on my watch, so I can do on my phone.
Yep.
And so I've slowly started to watch over the past 3 weeks go down 24%. Like the first week, my phone usage went down 24% per day.
That's good.
Amazing,
Yeah.
right? But it's still, I'm like constantly going back to it. And today, I already hit my hour limit, but now for the rest of the day, I'm not going to go on my phone much, other than texts and random little things.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit there and scroll on my phone. And so that's one of the new things I'm like, all right, this is going to help me in the long run. It's getting me outside more.
Yep.
It's getting me thinking a little bit differently. It's just changing that mindset of what am I doing stagnant? I've been here for a year. What can I do differently to progress from there?
Yep. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Because yeah, the whole like, I did the same thing when I was doing the sales too. Like, in between calls, I'd just be like scrolling on my
exactly.
phone.
And it's so easy for us in a work from home environment. You can make 5 calls in 5 minutes, and you don't have to do anything for another 20.
Yep. Or you just bang out like 100 calls
Or
in
you're
2
you
hours.
and I,
And then, like,
or you and I. Yeah.
what do
we
you do for the rest of your time?
We do literally 60. I was at 58 calls by 10:30 this morning.
Yeah, like it's easy to make calls. Like it's super easy and
Yeah.
simple. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do with the rest of my time? It's like, well, I already used all my energy making phone calls and having these conversations. So let's go to social media. But then you're on social media, and now all of a sudden you're thinking about all these other ideas that other people have. And most of the time, like on social media, a lot of the things like they aren't good for us. Like unless like you cultivate your algorithm to be like motivation or like money or like business or like sales or like information that's gonna help you in the long run. But I've seen other people's news feeds and like, dude, it's some weird dark things. I'm just
Well,
like,
I mean, you got your TikTok girls, which we can't get away from at this point.
I mean,
feel like that's
I've
just-
been able to.
But
luckily.
most of the time,
Luckily.
you can. Like
Yeah.
you can start scrolling, but every now and then it's one of those random videos. I'm like, they're on the Reels thing, and it's always like the third or fourth there,
Yep.
and just scroll past it. But
Yeah.
if you start to click on them, there's a lot of males in our
Oh, yeah,
20s
no, 100%,
click on them,
yeah.
right? And so all of a sudden they're gonna get 10 more on their feed.
Yep.
I can't go on it because it's literally locked out right now because I've already used it. And it literally has it right there, Instagram, and you click on it, and it says time
Okay.
limit set.
But
Time limit set.
And you actually do, so you don't just press OK and just go back to it?
Exactly, and I press OK, and then it goes me out of it.
Oh, okay. Because I've had other people that have done
You
that.
can press OK, and you can do ignore time limit, and then it has 1 minute,
Oh.
15 minutes, or ignore for a day.
See, and that's what other people have done that I've talked with that set the time limits. Because I've never been somebody that's needed to set time limits on my phone. Like I just like if I know that I need to get something done, I'll literally just throw my phone out without outside of reach, and I'm like, all right, I can't move from this spot until I get the task done.
Yeah.
And that's what I always did in college. That's what I've always done. But like some people, like I think it works better to have that time limit. But for me personally, like I'll just watch one video if I get what I need to. Then I'm like, all right, we're good.
I still feel like I am that way, but it got to the point where I have 20 calls in 2 hours,
Yep.
and and then getting frustrated because what the hell am I doing on my phone? I could be done right now, and I could go actually do something I enjoy. And so it's not that I was spending too much time on my phone, it's that I was procrastinating, not getting done, and I was getting frustrated myself after the fact. So if it was 9 o'clock, I made 20 calls, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go have food.
Yeah.
make food, and I start scrolling my phone. I come back to my desk. I'm not really ready to work yet. 20 minutes later goes by. I look up at, now it's 10:30. Well, now I've spent an hour. I could be done with work.
True.
Why am I not? Because I'm scrolling on my phone. That's the reason I put it on there. It's just basically say, hey, stupid, get off your phone.
Where do you think that comes from? Like the willingness to just want to keep scrolling on your phone?
I mean, chemically, it's the dopamine in our brain that wants us to keep scrolling. Procrastination, just not wanting to do work because I don't find the fulfillment and enjoyment in my work.
Is it that, or is it an avoidance? Because like, I mean, I guess procrastination is the same thing, but it could also be an avoidance of like wanting to feel a certain emotion. So it's like I'm gonna avoid I'm gonna go to my phone instead of feeling like bad about myself for not doing the thing that I should be doing. Even though I'm gonna go to my phone and then I'm gonna feel even worse about myself afterwards. For wasting a whole day scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be.
Potentially. I think for me personally, it was I don't get fulfillment in my job. Because it was like I said, how many calls did I make today? How many enrollments did I get? And so I don't feel good about it. I feel like I wasted my day.
Yeah.
So if I'm wasting my day at work, why not waste my day on Instagram? Was probably my thought. So now it's, all right, cut that off, go work harder.
Yep.
And then start brainstorming things. If I get that work done at 10:30, well, guess what? Now I can come to the gym at 2 o'clock. Yep. I can talk to my friends. I can brainstorm more of what I want. I can start studying for my series test, which is what I've started doing this week, is studying for that and starting reading those books, reading a little bit more of actual book knowledge and progressing.
What was a shift that you had? Like, do you think you had a shift to come to that point to where you could like realize?
My shift was I don't want to be in this position in 1 year. And that was probably the shift in early December. As I was like, another year's gone by. I'm still here.
Yep.
When I got the bottom line job, I thought it was going to be a 6 to 8 month job. I was like, look, because I left my 100% commission job, and I was like, I needed a job right then and there.
Yep.
You set me up. It was great, but it was not my long-term job.
100%.
It was never my long-term job. But I was content with it. I was making the money with it, and I didn't feel like I needed to progress. And so you did your review, or you do your review before your birthday. I did the review basically in December, and I was like, well, I'm still somewhat broke on money. I don't have the spending money I want to go on vacation with. I don't have the fulfillment in my job day in, day out. I don't look forward to going to my desk at 8 o'clock in the morning, sitting there for 6 hours and feeling good about my day. So what could I do to change it? Well, I found that I was spending too much time on my phone. So cut down the phone time. Found that I wasn't brainstorming. Cut down that. Now go outside, running. Just starting to study for the test again, just little things. But
it's interesting how like when we say we don't have time,
we're just not making it.
Exactly.
We're just not making it. Well, I'm sure you've seen the 6 p.m. friends and the 3 a.m. friends, right?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay,
no.
So you have your 6 p.m. friends that you can call them and they'll do anything for you up until about 6, 7 p.m. in the evening. It's like, all right, not there. And then you have your 3 a.m. friends that you'll call at 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning, and you can hear them putting on their pants out of bed, like, who do we need to go bury type of thing. It's finding those group of 3 a.m. friends for your life. And how was I going to tie this back? Shoot.
Well, do you need the 3 a.m. friends though? Because like, are those going to help you get to the place that you need to get to? Or are they going to be the ones that hold you back because they're the ones that like, because like, wouldn't it be better to be with somebody that like is in bed and like done by 7 o'clock? Because then you're not going to be in those situations where you have to call somebody, one of your 3 a.m. friends, to help you say like, do said thing at that point in time because you fucked up. Like, I feel like it's almost, I'd rather have the 6 p.m. friends than the 3 a.m. friends.
Okay. I guess I have 1 or 2 3 a.m. friends. That's like my go-tos, right? My ride or dies, whatever. And then you have your 6, and those can also be your 6 p.m. friends. Yeah. That professionally speaking and everything like that.
Yeah. And I think it's just 2 different outlooks because like for me, like, I've just never been the big party person. Like, it's cool, like, I'll do it type of thing.
Clearly.
Yeah, dude. Like,
look at where we are in the middle of the day.
Right, exactly. For me, dude, like, it's for the things that I want to accomplish and for people that, like, we were saying, like, I would only take advice from people that I would change places with. The people that are in the roles that I want to be in aren't out partying at 2 or 3 a.m. most of the time. Like there are exceptions
And
to
when I
those
say
rules.
3 a.m. friends, that doesn't mean coming
They're
home
partying
from
or-
a bar or
yeah.
anything. That's
Just like they're here to help you out any time
like
of the day.
I have
type
I
of
have
thing.
an
Okay.
emergency at 3 a.m. and I need you to get to the hospital for XYZ reason. You're gonna go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's I guess I should have prefaced it. It's not the party friends
Okay.
necessarily. It's
That was
the-
my misunderstanding. I hear late at night, I think party type of
No,
thing.
it's just they fell asleep. They were asleep. They woke up for you. Are they going to come help you?
Gotcha. Okay.
Are
yeah.
they your
They're-
ride or
They're like your
dies?
ride or dies. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so you have your 6 p.m. friends. That's like right now I think you and I are 6 p.m. friends.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Like, I mean, I'd tell you to fuck off type of
Yeah,
thing. Call me at
exactly.
3 a.m.
Exactly.
But I do that
And-
with anybody. Like, even if my parents called me at 3 a.m. and was like, hey, I need you to help me at the hospital.
You're
I'd
like,
be
you're kidding me.
I'd be like, call Brenna or like
I'll be
call
there
my
until
sister
7 in the
or something
morning.
like that.
I'll be there at 8. Like,
Yeah.
and so you have a couple of your 6 p.m. and your 3 a.m.s, and that's just how I think you need to go on with finding. I think my 3 a.m. friends are fine. I got those. Those are my ride or dies. And then it's those 6 p.m. friends that are going to be the professional ones, more likely the professional ones.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think it's smart. Like, I just do that for me personally. Yeah, and it's probably why I don't have a whole bunch of close friends, is because I am selfish when it comes down to those types of things. I'm like,
Okay,
I just don't
so-
succumb to peer pressure at all.
Friday, you were like, hey, let's do a podcast tonight.
Yeah,
I was like, well, I told Heather we were going to do something around, she doesn't get home till 9 though. It's like, I don't know what time you wanted to do it, but I want to be back here at 9. So
Yeah.
I was like, it's a no-go. But then Monday, let's go. Here we are at 2 p.m.
yep, exactly. Which, like, I have yoga tonight at 5, so I have to leave here at like 4:30 or so.
Yeah.
Which I doubt will be here for another
Hour
hour and a half, 2 hours basically. But
We do a lot of bullshit talking. So
I have been in like I want to do a podcast where like it's 24 hours, like I just do like a live stream or something like that. But I also feel like I don't know how people do the live streams on these like certain places, so I'm still trying to understand that whole concept. But I just think it'd be fun, like I'd be traveling around and doing certain videos like that. But that's also why, like, when you say like you have people here that you rely on, like I have friends and I have acquaintances, but like it's hard for me because I go, like, I mean, you're my friend obviously, but like I like to go deeper than most people do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to talk about abstract ideas with some types of people. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, it's why I move around as much as I do, and why I don't keep a lot of my friends, because a lot of the friends that I know, like you're an exception, a couple of other friends of mine too are, but it's just like they don't grow as much. And I always feel like I always grew up in a household and a family where we didn't have a whole lot of people over all the time. Like it was just always like we just spend time by ourselves.
Yeah.
So like I never felt like I had an obligation or a need to be with other people all the time. Like I love other people. I also love my alone time and being by myself. So it's just like some people would look at my life and be like, you're living your life in the wrong way. You need to have more friends. You need to be like out doing these things. And I'm like, for me personally, dude, like
if it works for you, why change it? If it's
Exactly.
not broken, don't fix it.
exactly.
Now, if you were to say you're having mental health issues because you're not talking with people or something like that, well,
Yeah.
might be a reason to change it. But clearly, it's different.
Also, like, how would you define mental health issues at that point in time too? Because like.
That was just my throw-on example.
No,
but-
no, it's valid because because I've been very emotional and I'm maybe breaking down. It hasn't been as much lately, but like I kind of started. I listen to a therapist online, and I also do like one-on-one coaching with his coaching community that he developed himself from the person I listen to. So it's like maybe there is some mental health stuff going on within my head, but it's also like it's a battle that I have to face on my own. Like, there are other people that I can talk to and I can listen to that have no objection or like, no reasoning to do that. Like they don't have any like need to get out for me or whatever it may be. But I also look at it as like each conversation and each interaction that I have with said person is in a form of therapy. It's just in a like a non-traditional way.
This is therapy right here, in a
Exactly.
way.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why like when people label like certain like mental health or traumas or like ADHD, like certain things, like a lot of it I think is just made up within our own head. Like obviously there are chemical imbalances that people do have that do go on within their head. But a lot of the time, like I think it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy by being like, oh, I can't read. It's like, okay, well now you're not going to be able to read. But it's like I can read, and it ties back to Mark, the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Like he wasn't the type of person that thought he was a good person, but he's just like, I'm just gonna live my life and
He's gonna
accept
keep
it as
trying
it.
it,
Exactly. So it's the same thing of like, if we believe that we are a certain way, we're gonna start to behave and act in that way. So it's like if I say that I have mental health problems, I'm gonna have mental health problems.
Okay.
So it's
you're categorizing yourself, putting yourself into the category accentuates that circumstance.
correct, and that's why I've never been a huge fan of like being like I am this way or I am that way, because it's for me personally, it's ever evolving, it's ever changing. Like I am who I am. Like each day is going to be different. And Alan Watts, he talks about that as well too. Is like you have no obligation to be the same person that you were 5 minutes ago. And it's why I move around. Yeah, I love him exactly. But it's like that's why I move around and I talk with different people, because like a lot of people that we interact with, they expect us to be the same way that we were when we first met them. And those people, I love them, but I can't be around them as much as like I wish I could. So it's just kind of like it's not a downfall, but it's just like it's a hindrance to me at a certain point.
Yeah, it's just something you have to consciously be aware of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which it takes time to be, but like once you have the awareness, dude, everything else just kind of starts to fall into place, that's the cool part.
That's the fun part.
Exactly. Which psychedelics could probably do that. Three.
Did you see recently it came out that Elon Musk is using ketamine for mental health?
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
It's not though, because he has a government contract for SpaceX, and government no like. So he's getting heavily looked into for when did that happen, when did he do it, and they're going back to when he was on Joe Rogan in 2018 smoking a blunt on camera.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, your contract came this year, and you're in void of your contract basically with the government, with the U.S. government. And so that's going to be an interesting thing in the background recently.
Like, has Musk ever really cared about what anybody else
And
says?
that was where I was going to tie into it. The sole art of not giving a fuck. Elon Musk, printed on a page.
Exactly. Like, because he knows who he is on the inside. So no matter what, so I think you're a religious man. I'm pretty sure, right? Kind of, sort of.
We've been there.
A little bit. I just think that like when you have something that is of meaning and of purpose, people are going to do everything in their power to take that away, because they themselves can't look within themselves to be like, either I'm inferior, or I want to do this thing, or they're not even like be on Elon Musk level, but they just don't have the courage to go off and do it themselves, so they'd rather take somebody else down. So the thing that Jordan Peterson talked about as well too is like, you got to clean up your room before you can criticize the world. So it's like, if you're out there criticizing other people, but your shit isn't like clean,
Yeah.
where does that lead you, type of thing. So that's why like, if Musk is on ketamine for his mental health, like let him be on ketamine for his mental health. Like, he's living his life. Everybody, I think, jumps to wanting to judge other people for what they do. And I've been in there. Like, I've been in those shoes beforehand. But it's also like, if I just let go and just realize, like, I can't control how somebody else reacts, and that ties back to, like, just when we go to bed at night, like, you and I will both have two completely different outcomes from this situation. Like, last time we talked, like, super meaningful conversation. I'm like, that's just what I do, type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we both have different meanings and different conversations, or, like, outcomes, but it's like, we get to decide at the end of the day. It's like, when I get stoned, like, maybe I'm a little weird, but like, do I like getting stoned? It's like, yeah, but it's like, I used to look at it in terms of like, I get super weird and awkward, but it's like, maybe that's just a self-fulfilling prophecy that I'm making happen within my own head. Same thing with yesterday at the gym. Like, I was looking at a girl, and I was like, the story in my head was like, oh, he's a creep, he's looking at me, because that's what other girls have always said. But then I was like, well, what if I change it? What if it's just like, oh, he's just admiring how, like, the hard work that I put in, like, that I would with, like, other people at the gym, type of thing. And after me changing that perspective, then I had a conversation with another girl, and, like, her and I's conversation was fantastic. So it's just a matter of, like, changing that frame and that story that we tell within our own head to be the story that we want to. But if we've been conditioned for so long to think one way because somebody else has told us this way, then that's just going to be how it is. So if it's like mental health is a bad thing, and I'm not saying that mental health isn't real, but it's just a matter of, like, sometimes I think, like, once it's on your chart, or once you've been diagnosed with said, like, illness, it never officially leaves you, even if you have overcame said issue.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to bring this up. So let me do this set first. Yeah. I gotta think of how I can word this.
What's up, Caleb? What's up, Chris? How you guys doing?
You look hella different, bro. What the fuck?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
You good, you?
Good. I like it, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Where you been?
Other gym. What's up, dude? Yeah. Needed to get some shit together, you know? Got tired of being in the same place that I was always at. Chris kind of enlightened my worldview, even if he didn't mean to, but just kind of gave me a new perspective that I didn't have originally. Made me look within myself in ways that I hadn't done beforehand.
He has that effect on people.
Yeah, so I needed it, man.
So, back in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't very many food allergies. There was a very low amount of mental health issues within the United States. As it started coming up, 90s, peanut allergies started rising. 2000s, more peanut allergies, more allergies to food. MSG allergies, that can go into chemicals they're using and get into all that. But it could also go to, well, if I feel weird, I just ate a peanut. Now I have a peanut allergy. What if you feel weird from not having the right diet, from not drinking enough water, from all these other things, but because we're focused and we've checked that chart of it was a peanut, now we have a peanut allergy for the rest of our life.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's the same, like, that's why there's so many more cases of ADHD coming out nowadays, too.
And that's exactly it, too.
Because everybody's just getting so used to the short form content, so it's lowering their attention span. And that's why I look at it as, like, if you want to increase your attention span, like, start watching more movies, watch longer form content, have longer conversations, listen to podcasts, listen to things that are going to keep your attention for longer if you want to be able to focus on one thing for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Or understand how your attention is being influenced, but it's like, I don't think it's really ADHD, it's just people are saying that it is ADHD because they've just been conditioned
It's
to just see short form stuff.
self-diagnosed.
Exactly.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's like the whole self-diagnosis thing. Like, I was telling that to the guy that I was telling you about that I was running with. And I told him, because he's like, he would get anxious like when he'd smoke, and I'd get anxious when I'd smoke. My heart would just be like beating out of my chest and be like, I don't like this. And then I'd run. And he's like, yeah, like I feel like I have anxiety. And I'm like, I don't like saying that because then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'd rather avoid that. I'd rather be like, I'm making a lot of money.
You
and
have
I'm having
anxious
freedom.
times, but you don't necessarily have anxiety.
Exactly. Or it's like, you can be like, you could say like you're lazy, or you could say like, there's times when I don't do what I need to because I feel as if, like, there's a way to reframe that in a different way too, and I'm trying to think of how you could do it with laziness. So it's just like, instead of saying you're lazy, it's just like, no, I just felt like resting today or something like that. Like, it's just a way of just
I
reframing
just
it.
need a break. Yeah.
Exactly. Which I like that a lot more. Did you want to do one more, or you want to call this good?
Is that 3?
That was 3.
You want, what else do we want to do?
I mean, we can do leg press, I was thinking, if it's open. I think she's almost done with it.
You want to do leg press and like extensions and curls or something?
Yeah, or we can just do extension and curls, like, you want to finish up with that.
It's up to you.
Because I don't want to do sled today, I can tell you that much.
I'm not doing a sled today.
That much,
Absolutely not.
That much I can tell you. Yeah, let's go do leg press, then we can do curls and extensions. And see what comes from that. Oh. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Disappeared for 3 months. And just like, I don't even recognize you. They weren't even the first people that said it either. I met a Thai too, and he's just like, dude, who? Like, oh shit. Steve didn't recognize me either at first. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
So it's just a whole, like, I mean, he did, but he also didn't. It's just interesting, dude. And that's why, like, I do the things that I do, is because a lot of the times, like, people don't change.
I see Steve too.
Whereas me, that's all I do.
There's 3 plates on that bar.
He's got to be. I figure we can do this one. Oh. Those.
How many? How
2.
many?
Just, we'll
2?
start with 2. We'll go up to 6. I was like, do you have, so like, because you originally wanted to, like, your original thing was like, you wanted to understand why people, some chase their dreams or some don't. Like, do you think you figured that out? Or do you think it's still kind of like,
I mean, the reason why some do, some don't?
yeah. Because I know at the beginning you were talking about like why this and why that, but I didn't know if there's something else that you kind of thought of.
People chase their dreams, some don't. And it's. Ooh. I was trying to think about this before, as I was driving over here. Hold on, let me go back to our text here. Get back in that mindset for a second.
Right.
So this day was Friday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday night, how I kind of came to this and where my mind was I started going to play video games about 12 o'clock. I was like, all right, I'm ready for bed. Go upstairs. I normally stretch before bed, so I brush my teeth, I get ready, I start stretching. I roll out, 20 minutes later goes on, and lights are out in the room, like I'm fully ready for bed, trying to be at least, and I can't get my brain to turn off.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about how I can progress and what can I do and what I really want to do with my dreams, like going forward. And I just kept coming back to the one thing that I've talked about for 4 years is being in finance and assisting people in that way. And so at that one point at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, what's stopping me? Girlfriend was already in bed, starting to fall asleep. I leave the room. She just thought whatever with it. I go downstairs and I find in the back closet the books that I had for studying. Open those books, start reading through it. I'm like, I can do this. Like, most of this is coming back to me. And so I did that for about an hour and a half. Now it's 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning now. I have work still at 8. And I'm trying to figure out, all right, what do I do with this? Well, how can I expedite this process? And so I started looking at programs that different companies offer for financial advisors and how they go through 24, 36, some were 48 months, and they go through and they basically keep you accountable, keep you in office. And so I started applying to 8 different programs at different companies of how I can do this. And it's like, well, what was stopping me from doing this last year? I didn't think about it, was maybe an answer, but I didn't want it. I wasn't ready for it. So people don't follow their dreams because they're not ready to follow their dreams, not ready to fail.
Yeah.
I failed already. I tried to be a financial advisor, and I think I've done 10.
Pretty close.
I think I've done 10.
Toss on 2 more.
And so I was trying to think, all right, what did I fail at last time I did this that is going to change this time? And it came down to I really just didn't know. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it enough. I wanted it given to me, and I didn't want to go work for it.
Yep.
So I think people don't follow their dreams because they either don't want it enough. How isn't always it, because we have the power of Google now. You can find out how.
How also takes care of itself.
You can find out how, but if you don't want it, truly want it at that time, it's not going to happen for you.
Nope.
And I think most people want to follow their dreams, but they don't want it enough to give up the security.
What do you think it comes back to them possibly romanticizing the dream itself?
Well, they might like it more as a dream too, because they might get to it and be like, well, this isn't what I expected.
Yep.
I don't like it, so I'm going to self-sabotage or not be as driven, whatever, and they're going to call it, I couldn't do it.
Yep.
I failed, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, yet I still can't not think about it almost every day for the past 3 years.
Yeah. So clearly there's
So clearly I wasn't ready. And I think I'm ready at this point. I have years of work experience now. I have a little bit more of an understanding of what actually needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to go chase it. The same thing for you a couple months ago.
Yep.
You figured it out. You're like, I'm ready to go chase it. And here you are chasing it.
Yeah. Which yeah, dude, like how you were talking about like New Year's resolutions. That was when I decided I'm done. Like it's just like how much more proof do I need? And
Yeah.
like I feel like when we decide heaven and earth can move with that decision. But it's like too often I don't think, like you're saying, like people we don't commit. Like I've never committed fully to doing this. So the universe, God, myself has never truly wanted to go for it because like I never committed and believed in myself as much as I could. But like now that I have, it's just like let's just see what happens. And I feel like everything happens when it's supposed to, because you probably needed to have all this other past experience to realize like, okay, these aren't the things that I want to do, so that you could get to the place that you do want to be. And I think that's what has held me back before, was like I thought I needed to have all the answers, but then when I first started doing sales, like it required me to pick up that first phone call and fail. When I started cold approaching people and strangers and like having conversations, dude, I said some weird things. But like through those,
I said some weird things.
I was trying to say, like, I didn't, because like I didn't like fuck up, but I also kind of like, oh yeah,
Really?
2 more. I just think a lot of it comes down to like a matter of being afraid to fail, but realizing that it's not a failure, but it's just an experience that is helping you get closer to the place that you want to get to.
Yeah, we get 6 and 6.
So like, but yeah, dude, like every other.
How many people have people told you this isn't gonna work?
So that's the weird part.
No.
I've had 0 people tell me that. They're like,
Do you think they think it?
I can't know what people think, but I could. Sometimes I've gotten hints. Like I think the underlying tones kind of reveal it a little bit, where it's just like
Body language and things like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like I know you can do this. It also terrifies me because I want you to be safe and secure, but I know that like you have it in you to like succeed in the ways that you know you can, because like I also look back at like all the other challenging things that I've done, like say going on a run, or like let's say like this is stupid, but these are things that I would do like when I was in my early 20s. So like there's a mountain in Grand Junction called the Grand Mesa.
Yeah.
And like in the
It's
summer,
it's the tallest, flattest top mountain in the world.
yeah, and going up is like a 90-degree angle, basically going up the hill. And nobody hikes in the summertime in Grand Junction because it's like
It's too hot.
110 degrees outside. My dumb ass at the time,
How old were you?
probably 22 or something.
Sounds
like
about
that.
right. Sounds about right.
And like it would always be on Saturdays, and Saturdays I would fast, so I wouldn't eat beforehand.
Okay.
So I ended up hiking up this mountain when it was like probably 100 degrees outside. Like I was just dying. I was just like, this is idiotic. Like, what am I doing? But at the time I was like, this is what I need to be doing. I'm going up there because it's me challenging and showing myself what I'm capable of. If I look back, I'm like, I'm grateful that I did those things because it showed me, like, if I can do this, and I can also do this thing over here too. But like I would do that, and then I ended up going to yoga right afterwards, and then I'd come home and eat. So like I'd spend a full day like not having any sort of like substance within me, and people would be like, that's idiotic, like you could have died type of thing. But I look at it in terms of like when I'm in the valley of despair, or when I'm struggling and I think people are thinking this set thing of me, all I can really do is just like remember moments like that I pushed myself when nobody else was there, and realize that like these people weren't out there pushing me to go up that mountain. I was pushing myself and telling myself that I could do it. So if I could do that, then I can also do this.
Okay.
Because like it ties back to like I can't get into the head of you or into the head of my parents, or my friends, or my sisters, or anything like that. All I can do is just look at what other successful people have done, and I've heard other successful people that have like done what I'm doing, and they've had massive amounts of success from it. I think the people that we don't hear about is because they gave up. And like the only way to truly fail, in my opinion, is by stopping. Because like I look back at like past experiences or past like hardships that I had, and I look at it as like I needed to do those things to prepare me for this moment right here.
Okay.
Because otherwise my mind would be weak, my spirit would be weak, I wouldn't have the willpower to be able to go off and do these things. Because dude, for one of the other channels that I have, like I feel like I'm in the valley of despair. So like it's the whole thing, like where it's just like you have informed optimism, and then you have informed pessimism, and then like you're in the valley of despair. But then you start to get like informed optimism, and then you succeed. So I'm kind of like in the valley of despair where I'm like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing.
I got no idea what's happening.
But like I know that if I just keep at this, and I keep walking up that mountain, keep walking
gonna
up that
learn
hill,
it.
I'm gonna get to that point.
Okay.
So like with you, with learning, it's just a matter of like just reading one page at a time, or reading those one books and realizing like, okay, this is something that I want to do versus something that I don't want to do. Like they can go hand in hand, because like, I mean, you picked up those books at that specific time that you needed to. You could
Yes.
like, you could look at it, and then I have heard people look at it as like, and I've been guilty of this myself, where it's just like, I should have been doing this 5-6 years ago. It's just I wasn't ready for it 5-6 years ago as much as I am now.
Yes.
I had to go through those failures. I had to have those sales calls. I had to acquire the skills.
You had to have the trial and what's the other word? You had to have the trial and effort and fail to figure out what you need and what works for you.
Exactly. And that's where I think that's what I think holds a lot of people back from reaching success, is like just the willingness not to try. But like you learn more from trying. Like I've learned more from my failures than I ever have from my successes.
Always, right? Well, that's when they say like, oh, you guys, you won a game. So the national championship's on tonight, right? For football, for college football. The winning team, great, you just won the national championships.
Yeah.
Do you think that practice in 2 months, they're going to say what they did wrong? Absolutely not. But the losing team, next week is probably going to be back in the gym.
Yep.
Ready for, we need to do this, 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 and this.
Yep. Well, look at the Avs. The Avs when they won the Stanley Cup.
Oh.
What happened the next year?
Shoot, the Red Wings, man. They used to go to the playoffs. They had the longest playoff streak for 26 years. Yeah. And then they lost it, and they haven't been back in the past 4.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't want to say it, but it's like, it's just all the failures that I have had just have helped me. Like, it makes the win so much more gratifying afterwards. Like, I know that all these months, because, dude, like, well, I don't say I do it for external validation, but it's just like, I think there's an aspect that's just like, I just hope to be an inspiration to somebody else to be like, okay, well, Caleb was able to do it. He was completely terrified, petrified, and then like he found his success. So that's my hope, dude. Like, that's a big reason why I do what I do. We'll see how this ends up going though, but.
So what is your dream? Okay, hold on.
I'll do my set.
Is your success your dream, or is the dream your success? If you can get to your point that you dream of, is that success? Or once you become successful, is that your dream?
So my dream has just been able to just do what I want to do every single day. So like,
I'm jealous because you're doing that right now.
like that's, I'm doing it now because I understand that this is where it starts. There's so much more that I want to do. Like I want to be able to just be like, all right, I'm buying a plane ticket, I'm going to Bali, or I'm going to Dubai, or I'm going
Japan,
without a question in my mind. But I understand that it has to start here. Like I can't, like I could, but it would take more time for me to save up to that point to get to there. Whereas what I can do is I can start with what I have right now, and I can work backwards from there. And I had this thought in my head a couple of months ago, where like when I was telling you about like I was going to go live in a van and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's something popped in my head where it's just like everything you need you have right here. So I was like, okay, so I don't really have to leave. I just need to reframe the situation and look at it from a different angle than how I was in the past. So yeah, I'd say, like, because like I thought the success and the dream was to make $10,000 a month. And I did that, but I didn't want to do it for somebody else. Like I'd rather do that for myself, to where like I'm making money like this right now. Like this is me working in a sense, but it is also like me just having a good time, like hopefully helping you get to the point where like you maybe have different ideas, or you can think about things in a different way, which in turn I think will help other people, and then that in turn will just like hopefully create a snowball effect is my hope. And I also just look at it in terms of like, if I was able to do what I did in sales, then I should be able to do the same thing here. It's just a matter of putting in the reps and doing the content and using maybe the third door, or looking at it from a different angle, because I've never seen people do the things that I do. People have always told me, and it sucks. It sucks, but it's also a blessing. But it's just like, people have always told me, it's like, oh, you're perfect. Like you can't make, like you're gonna be incredibly successful. You're gonna make it great. And then I'm over here, I'm just like,
where is this?
Mm-hmm. So it's become a mantra, and it's something that I've kind of had to grieve over and understand. Like, it's there. It's just, it's
how
not
do we bring that
there.
out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like me doing things like this, where it's much more genuine and authentic, is my way of bringing it out. Because like, what would be your definition of success?
isn't that forever? To me, that's forever changing. So success would be happy life, which could be objective and subjective on its own, and it could be taking numerous vacations a year. But I really think it's working for my own, and if I can wake up every day and say, hey, I have this, this, and this, and this, and I can do whatever else I want with my day, that's going to be my definition of success, and make a comfortable income and be able to provide. That's it. I don't need $200,000 a day or $200,000 a year, but would it be nice? Of course it'd be nice. But I would rather take a $100,000 lifestyle. Wake up and be like, you know what? I get to do this every single day, and then I get to do something else that I choose.
Exactly.
And I'll take that money over Elon Musk money any day.
100%. Like, yeah, I can agree with you there. Because I was like,
but at one point, success was 500,000, right? But if it's 500,000 and I don't enjoy what I do and I dread it, I don't think it's going to be worth it.
no.
And I think that's a big thing that our generation is becoming, is what does it matter if I climb the corporate ladder and I can make that $1 million a year if I don't have time to see my family, if I don't have time to go see kids' soccer games, baseball, whatever sport activity.
You can't go snowboarding, you can't do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Like,
Is it really worth it? And most people on their deathbed will say, no, work less, spend time doing what you enjoy. And that's most of the time people's biggest regret in life is that they work too much.
Yep.
So let's not work as much, make less income, but have a better lifestyle and be happier overall.
And that's why, that's why I love the internet. Because I'm like, I was always under the impression that everybody is just posting and doing the things that I do or that you do. And it's just like very few people are. Most people are consumers. Like I think we talked about that last time. Either you're a consumer or you're a creator. And it's also like, I'd rather like, obviously like there's an abundant world that we live in, so like we can make as much money as we want to. It's just I'd rather have the freedom to choose and dictate my day instead of having to have somebody. And maybe this is the reason why I left my company in the first place, was because I probably was looking for reasons to leave because I was tired of being there. So I was looking for any excuse in the book. Like same principle can be applied to relationships. Like let's say all of a sudden you're happy, you're loving in your relationship, but like your mindset towards your partner changes. Then all of a sudden you start viewing that partner a different way, but the partner hasn't changed. Just the way that you look at that person in a set scenario
Absolutely.
is the thing that's changed.
Absolutely. So I was in a relationship out of college, and it was 3.5 years. We moved up here together. I thought she was going to be the one, right? Family liked me. I thought family liked me. As far as I know, they still, you know.
I mean, you can still say that they do like you,
Yeah,
probably, you know?
right,
Like,
exactly. But there was a good relationship with the family, good relationship with my family. Everything was meshed very well. When we moved up here, though, I just got this feeling that I wanted more. And we'd have a discussion, and there was no movement in it. It was pretty stagnant. And so over 6, 9, all of a sudden a year lease came up. I was like, hey, I think I want to get my own lease. And so that's what we did. And it came to like, well, what was wrong? It's like our relationship wasn't wrong. It's just we were stagnant. I couldn't grow to where I wanted to grow to in that spot because I was too comfortable. So I'm thinking back to jobs. It's always like that, right? We're always really comfortable in what we know. It's the devil of the unknown.
Yep.
What's out there? But you don't know unless you try it.
Exactly. Well, like,
It's always going to benefit you in some way
Oh,
because
100%.
you're likely going to not have fun, but you're going to learn something.
yep. And you can even look at like Alan Watts says something too, where it's just like you don't like you have faith that the ground isn't going to give out as you take a step each and every single time. You might not know where the destination is, and like I do lots of walking, so there's time and biking too, and there's times where I'm like, I don't even know this existed.
Right.
But I just started walking. I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. And I feel like it's the same thing within our own mind and our thoughts. Is if we just start walking and moving, like all these different things will just start to come to us, towards us. That's why when you're just like, I don't want to worry about the how, because the how does always take care of itself. Like if you have the idea, like the things they'll just magically. Because I didn't expect me doing like things like this right now. So I'm like, let's just try it. Like let's just see and see where it goes. But
So one thing that's always just kind of like mind fucked me is you and I will most likely never go to a place where like we will never be the first person at that place.
no,
Never in our lifetime. It's just boggling. It's
Right.
like we can go to a remote place in the Colorado mountains that we think is miles and miles and miles away. Most likely, we're not the first person that's been there.
No.
There's always been somebody before.
Yeah.
And guess what? We don't know who their names are.
Nope.
You think the next person's gonna know who our names are?
No, not even close.
So why does it matter?
Exactly. Why worry about what other people are thinking? Like, we put so much emphasis and thought on other people, but it's just like nobody's thinking about us as much as we are.
No.
So that's why when you ask me like, do you think other people think that the things that you're doing are wrong? It's like, I don't know.
What does it matter?
There's probably parts of me that like, maybe there's thoughts that I had of myself that I was like, am I doing the right thing? And there's probably, it's just that doubt that I think comes into everybody's mind.
Oh yeah.
But it's like I just had to remove that doubt, and that's where like lifting or exercise or yoga or meditation comes in, because it helps me be like, okay, this is gone. Or I read other successful people's stories, and it's like, okay, they were also here too. Now, like, Shoe Knight is the one that came to mind. Phil Knight, Shoe Dog,
Okay.
creator of Nike. He, exact same thing. It's like nobody likes just like a success story. Everybody likes like the underdog story, and then like seeing how they rose to great heights afterwards.
Rudy.
So I look at it as like, some people envy me for what I do, but I kind of change it. I'm like, I look at it as like, hopefully I'll inspire the right people. So it's just a matter of like reframing those said situations that I think has a massive impact. At least that's been what's able to help me. Getting More is a great book on that, because it's the same thing with like sales and everything. Like, we each value different things. So it's like, what do you value and what do I value? And if we figure those two things out, like, we can trade things that we each value separately to both gain in said interaction. So like somebody in sales, like when I was doing sales, it's like the person values the software more than the money themselves, because it's going to be saving them time. Whereas for me, I value the money more, so I wanted to give them something that was going to be solving the problem. So it's like, say with you in financial advising, it's like, what does the person value more than the money that they would be handing over to you? Like, what solution are you going to be solving for them? Because they have problems. It's just their problems might be bigger than our problems are right now.
True. It's also not that busy here
No.
for a Monday and New Year's. Come on, people, you're slacking.
Is it slacking, or is it? See, there's so many concepts that I could go into. I just don't, because I think you understand some of the concepts. You probably do, but it's just like, who knows if it needs to be busy today? Like, what if we needed it not to be busy? So it's just not busy.
I mean, we were still hoping it was not going to be busy today.
So like, I mean, because like, so I don't know how much you believe in these types of things. You probably believe in it more than most people. We can call it good here. But it's just like running into people, like you see the same person everywhere at certain places, or like you'll be thinking about something and then that person will come into your mind, or
Yeah.
like shoot you a text or something like that.
or
Like the
or
last
you
time.
you have a dream about somebody and they text you the same day.
Yep. So that's why it ties back to like, why not just tell the story that you want to tell within your head instead of the story that everybody else is telling you? Like, yes, don't do it. Like, if there's 100 people telling you that you are one way, you probably are that way. But if there's like 3 or 4 people telling you that you are that way, you're probably not that way. But like, you can change the story that you tell yourself every single day. So it's just like, if you don't like where you are, change the story that you're telling yourself when you fall to bed at night, and then see what happens with the world around you.
I'm sure you've seen the guy that's gone to nightclubs having quote unquote the live feed with like 10,000 people watching live or whatever. Have you seen that?
I think so. Here, let me
And he
do,
goes into this bar or this club that has like a
gonna do leg
3-hour
press
wait.
or say hi to Steve first?
What was that?
We'll do leg press first. 3-hour wait?
Has like a 3-hour wait. And he goes up to the bouncer and says, "Hey man, can I get in? I have 17,000 people watching me right now."
Yeah.
And then they give him free table service. But he made the app
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah.
program to show it. But he goes in there and he gets the table service. He gets the girls come up to him for just drinks and they want to dance with him. And then he goes back the next day with nothing. Can't even get into the club.
Yep. Well, it's the whole social proof. Like, people like social proof. It's not that they don't like social proof or not. All right, GoPro's dying, so audio only now at this point in time. Yeah, dude, it's the whole fucking. It's
So one day he told himself, "I'm going to be rich and famous," quote unquote, via social media. The next day he's a nobody.
yeah. Well, so I don't know why this came to mind. Do you remember Fire Festival? Yeah. And how the dude was like, "This is gonna be the biggest thing." Like,
And he
since
made it
sliced
the biggest
cheese.
thing.
Yep. But then like the photos and everything else
Nothing.
out there. Like,
It was the biggest flop. You see, he's trying to do it again.
is he?
He's trying to make a fire festival too.
Because I thought he got sued and went to jail. And, like,
Oh, he
all this
did.
other-
He's been in a white collar jail, prison for like 3 or 5 years, 5 years, something like that.
So what's like?
He has another idea. He said this time it's gonna be better and all these different things and blah blah blah.
Dude, that's fantastic. This is why I love America and just like people in general, because I think it's the most undervalued thing. Like the power of the imagination, dude. It's the most undervalued skill, and it's like any other muscle. Everybody can develop the power of their imagination. So you can imagine you being the most successful individual as a financial advisor, and then just watch that transpire afterwards. Like it all starts up within your head first. Like you can think like psychedelics, or like when you're on, like maybe you're dreaming or something like that. That experience feels real to you. So what if you could do the exact same thing for your future? Like it might not look the exact same way that you visualized it, but it'll be pretty damn close, and you'll probably get more than you thought you would have because you visualized it first within your head. Like when we were squatting today, I go into my mind and like I have like a gym within my head, and like I visualize myself doing the reps before I do the reps. So I see them first within my mind's eye, and then I do those reps.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like with everyday life too. And that's why like if you don't believe me, I say test it. Like try looking for things that you typically wouldn't see. Just be like, just show me things. Like, let me just see things that I typically wouldn't see. I wanted to. This is messed up, but
As I'm starting to look around immediately,
it's
right?
true. But so it's not that. This is messed up a little bit. So I wanted to see. It's so fucked up. I wanted to see like a little person. So
Okay.
like 2 days later, I see a little person at the gym. And I was like, what is going on right now? And then one night when I go to the bar, I see another little person there, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I was like, all right, I wonder what it's like to like, I wonder how somebody feels like if they only have one arm. A couple days later, there's a dude with one arm at the gym that I go to. And I'm like, interesting. So it's a matter of like, you got to see it within your head first, and then like you'll start, and it could be a logic fallacy for all I know, but like, I look at it in terms of like,
You
this
see
very
yourself
well,
winning the lottery, go buy a lottery ticket.
I very well could. I also feel like that would take away like the success in the dream, you know?
Success in the dream by buying a lottery ticket?
Yeah, because like if I get all the money, then it's like, all right, cool. Like yeah, I have all this money, but like, did I earn it? It's like for
So
me
most-
personally, I'd rather earn it.
Most people have said that winning a lottery is the biggest thing they regret.
Yeah,
Because they have all this money they've never had before, now they don't know what to do with it.
exactly. So if they don't know what to do with it, then it's like, and that's why a lot of them I think go broke afterwards. Do you know that guy? No.
Is that a quote from Fest?
Yeah.
In the gym.
Look at what I just said.
I know, but like,
Just accept it. It's something that we've never seen before.
I thought it was a weight vest.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it a little bit harder.
Bulletproof vest. Seen it? It can happen that quick.
Interesting. Wow, that was really seconds.
I was on a walk with a friend of mine too, and we were talking about bulldozers, and I was like, she's like, I never see bulldozers, and I was like, what do you mean? I see bulldozers all the time. Like we're walking around, and then like we go into the neighborhood, and I'm just like, look, there's a bulldozer, and she's like, what the fuck? And I was like, it's just a matter of being able to recognize it, because like the bulletproof vest for you, that's more like out there and different for you. For me, I'm just like, okay.
Okay. Huh.
So like, if you're able to see that, like think about all these other things.
Huh.
It's a muscle. Like it will take some time.
Yeah.
But it is a muscle. Like I mean, you're gonna have to start
I
at the
like
bar
to
first.
think that I am a bit more noticing of other things than other people as well.
But like if you were able to do it, like what do you think allowed you to be able to become more observant?
Just continuing. I've been okay. So backtrack here, or story time. So when I was younger, we'd go down to I'm from Michigan, so we'd go down to Detroit for Red Wings games.
Yeah.
Back in 06, 07, 08, Detroit, not good place to go. And we had to parked in downtown Detroit, and Joe Louis Arena was out by the river, so you had to walk. You had to go down this one road, alleys kind of next to you, go around this left turn lane, or left turn, and there was always this cutout of a door, like this big, that goes into a business. And it was walled off about that big, but there's always homeless people in it. and it was always a little weird.
Likewise, dude.
It's always a little weird as an 8-year-old just seeing people there.
Yeah.
And then you go up and you walk further, and you have to go through this, we call it the like the gerbil cage. And it was this ramp that took you up to go over I-75 to go over the pass to go into the Joe Louis Arena. Homeless people everywhere. Detroit, not the best. You've heard of people getting mugged out there. You've heard of people getting robbed, gunpoint, everything like that. And so my father was a CCW carrier, and so you couldn't take it into the Joe Louis Arena though, so it was always in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And numerous nights we'd walk to and from, and he'd start pointing out different things. Like, you notice that person up there? And I'm like, I didn't even see him. And then we go by, you notice that person over there? I didn't even see him because they're so hidden in the dark, kind of in the dark corner. And about a year later, I started doing it to him. I'm like, you notice? He's like, I didn't even see him.
Yeah.
And one thing that I always was trained to look for and still am is if somebody's carrying a sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got the focus from watching him of what it looks like on his shirt when he'd move any different way.
Yeah.
And so I, to this day, could go into a grocery store and look around. I used to be able, and still can, point people out that are carrying.
Yeah.
And so I think doing that from a very young age has gotten me to be like just queuing on to different context clues, different things that some people might not see, whether it's a spider web in the corner or who knows what. But that's where I think I've generated it, but it's fallen off over time as I work from home, don't go out in public as much.
Yeah.
It's fallen off a little bit.
You aren't as observant of it as you once were.
Correct.
Yeah. 'Cause yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of a show called Psych at all or not.
Yeah.
That was how I learned it.
And he like goes into his eyes basically, and it's like, oh, I did see that.
Yeah, because it was because his dad was a detective and trained him at a very young age, kind of like how your dad trained you to be like, hey, Spencer, like his name was Spencer. Was like, how many hats are in the diner right now? He'd have to count all the hats and then say how many there were, and then he was able to acquire his memory that way to be more observant. That's something that I've always done too. I do with conversations, I do with people, I do with body language. So I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, the dude's like a psychic, but he's not like really a psychic, but he's just observant of other things that most people aren't observant of.
So I have a buddy that is observant of,
You want another 10?
yeah, my bad. I have a buddy that's observant of how many words you say in a sentence.
Really?
He'll count it,
Is he
every sentence, and he'll also count the syllables.
Is he autistic?
No, but he was my roommate in college. He's a fraternity brother, and I learned this only like 2 years ago. And he was like, we were tripping on some shrooms,
Yeah.
and one thing came up, and I was like, I don't remember what we were talking about. He's like, yeah, dude, I count how many words you say. What do you mean? He goes, you just said 3 words.
Dude, that's awesome.
Just like
love
that.
shit.
And
Oh, I love
he's
to
like,
talk
your
to that
sentence
guy.
6 days ago was like 20. He's like, yeah, it was 26 words. I'm like, how? He goes, oh, and then by the way, he'd start counting the syllables in his head too. What the heck? He goes, I hate it. He's like, I hate doing it, but it's something I continually do. So that's something he locks onto and observes more than I would never be able to.
Yeah. Well, it's like for you, it's probably not a valuable thing. For him, that was probably a coping mechanism that he had to acquire at a young age. So he just kind of like kept it. It's probably why I'm like this as well too. Probably from a young age, like there was some part of time where like I wasn't observant enough, so like I needed to learn how to make sure I picked up on these subtle cues. So catastrophe didn't happen. I don't know if there ever was any catastrophes, but I just found it interesting, dude.
Yeah.
Like just being able, because like when I was a kid, I was never like I couldn't watch cartoons, like play certain types of video games, so I think I was always like on edge, like to make sure that like if I heard a noise or I saw something, it's like I put the thing back exactly where it was onto the old channel so that I wouldn't get like in trouble type of thing.
Okay.
Maybe there's some truth to that, but it's just like I just love people that are observant type of thing. My buddy would always call me autistic because I would do these types of things, and I'm like, it's not that I'm autistic, it's just
Observant.
I'm observant. We'll do hamstrings, and then we can call it.
All right.
I'm just a firm believer that anything that we want, like, it's a skill that can be acquired. Like, running with how quick, like, I don't know how long you've been running, but I don't know if you've noticed, like, the change in, like, your pace and your breathing and everything else that comes along with it. Or if it is still, like, if it's still the same. I got you, 25.
25?
Yeah. I already got one. We got 2. But I just don't know if you've noticed, like, how quickly your endurance has like increased with
Oh,
just
yeah.
like a short period of time of running.
So I realized that a lot snowboarding, especially with my girlfriend, because sometimes so we were on a cat track last week, because it was New Year's. That was New Year's.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, just about a week ago.
And so we went snowboarding. We were on this long cat track, and she just didn't have the speed for it. And so I took my board off, and I started running back up the hill. And here I go, pulling her, just running. We're at 9,000 feet elevation. It's like, and people next to us are pushing themselves like
Yeah.
on skis, and they're just out of breath. And she looks over at me and she goes, "That was nothing for you, right?" And I was like, "No, got my board on, got ready to go. I'm ready to go." And they're just like bending over, chest on their ski poles, just like heavy breathing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, like I'm endurance. This is amazing.
So it's funny that you brought, like, I was thinking about that on the run the other day. Because I would always see people like you and be like, well, shit, I'm never gonna be there. But then I have to remember like all the time and the effort and the amount of work that you put in to be at that level of endurance or that level of strength, and not get discouraged, but realize like, okay,
There's
this
still
person's
somebody better out there.
Exactly, but it's also like you've been doing it for so long that you've acquired the skill of this. So it's like I'd rather look at you and be like, okay, this guy, yeah, he's doing it a lot quicker than I am, but that's something that I can work towards because he was at the exact same spot that I was.
Yeah.
But too often we don't think that like this person was where I was. We just think like, oh, they're at this great place, but it's like, no, they just started training.
Well, how many pull-ups could you do when you first started the gym?
Oh, I probably could. I mean,
Probably zero.
yeah,
Honestly, probably zero.
yeah.
Now, how many pull-ups can you do?
I mean, I do like 5.
Oh, wow.
But
I was
that's
expecting
also-
a bit more, but
That's because if I need to, like I could rep out 10 to 15 probably.
Yeah.
But like, I just do like 3 or 4 sets of 5. How you doing? Good, you? Yeah, long time no see. Not much, man.
Podcasting?
Yeah, dude. I told you I'd have you on too. Like,
I was with Arm on I'm talking about peptides and shit. Read it yourself.
yeah.
Tell you all my knowledge. Peptides are way safer than steroids.
See, like these are the things that I just don't know anything about.
Right.
But like you have a wealth of knowledge on, so
All they are is amino acids.
yeah.
I know nothing to use them. Water, train in your body. And like 2 people you know in here that are screwed for the rest of their lives right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's about to do life in prison.
Really?
Snapped on a bunch of Chinese chick almost to death.
Are you serious?
Got murdered 1 charge, 7 minor offenses. Then Harrison, he just like was all fucked up, up to a crime scene, ran over a dead body and hit a cop.
holy shit.
Like these people are just, I'm like, man. So when I tell you guys have to, they always ask me these questions about training shit. Like, how the fuck is that shit? 100 milligrams a week, so all you need, you're gonna get a show. I wouldn't have any fun. They're like, oh, we're running 600. I'm like, oh, that's how you die. Like, when I was a kid, I never broke 300 and I had to stay alone.
And that's just like, yeah, I was talking, I ran into Caleb a couple days ago, and I was just like, he said he was on, like, doing all his gear and shit, like, well, I guess it was a month or 2 ago. Like, he was at my other gym.
October 18th, you got locked up.
Really? So he's like, really?
Oh, you got 7 charges, like murder 1, first degree assault, obstruction of justice. He's doing a bunch of DMT and Washington. Like, you take everything to the extreme. People think that the human steroids are going to get bigger, and that's not the fact. Less is more in that world. Eating is how you grow.
Exactly. That's not, yeah.
You don't eat steroids. Low dose testosterone, like 100 milligrams a week if you're 30 or older or 35 or older. You're going to need peptide or 2 just for recovery, skin tightening, collagens in the system. You're going to do what?
No.
All this shit and get instant gratification.
We were talking about that earlier, too. It's just like people don't,
Generation and now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Give it to me now.
you don't want to put in the work, which is,
No, you gotta put in work. That's why I was trying to teach this kid Brandon how to train. He won't do nothing, thank God. He's like, I'm just sitting at him. Like, you're 180, 20 years old, all this built in at his name, 30 days in Syria.
well, like, do you think that there's a way to help people realize to not, like, to put in the work? Because I've been trying to figure that out. Like, how do you push somebody that doesn't want to be pushed, or how do you get somebody to that point where it's like, I'll just be patient
Showing
with it.
people that have actually been there and done it.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
It's funny to me because people also will be like, well, so-and-so did this, this, and this. I'm like, well, and they're like, you're throwing this so big for the story. It's like, listen, when you run a cycle, you have to put in 3 to 5 times more work. Eating has got to be going on. Like your gym life part of it is either hard. It's not easy. You can't just shoot and shake your body. But, oh, look, I'm jacked and ripped. It doesn't work like that.
No.
If it was everybody who fucking body.
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. That shit's just, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I've never I've always been natural. I think it's just how I just don't see doing it any other
The
way.
only time I ever ran gears for shows, and I don't compete anymore, so I stay at 100 milligram test a week, which is nothing. I'm up there at like 1100, which is still below where I want to be, but I feel good there.
And I feel like that's a better way to do it. Like if you aren't doing shows or anything like that, why
do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always thought like, all right, when I turn 30 or whatever, I'll get blood work done. If my test comes low, then I'll do it just for the health sake, not for the gym
No,
sake.
it's good for your heart and your bones.
Yeah, but am I gonna enjoy it in the gym? Fuck yeah.
Why not? I do. In the summer, yeah, I bumped to 200. Put my levels, so then about 1500. Males should be all the way to 70, like 1500 or higher. They brought us down. If you look at
I was just about to say that recently in the past 30 years, we're at like half of what the kids in the 60s were.
I just did a 33 research study on all the countries. We're the worst because this country is bullshit. You bullshit your dream. But kids from the ages of 16 to 25 were anywhere from 193, which is awful, to 420, which is still a holy shit. That's not a 70-year-old man 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
They bred us down.
back in the 60s, the normal high school gym regimen was you had to run a mile under 7:30. You had to do 16 pull-ups. What was it? It was like 36 push-ups.
You'd be surprised how many
And what I found amazing was 4 handstand push-ups. I can't do those, but that was the gym requirement in the 60s.
This is dude, you have a couple of these guys, this is way smaller. I got about 80 pounds. I did burpees. Like, I can do burpees. I'm like, all right, cool. You knock out 750, they're like, yeah. They get to 17, this kid there, he's like shaking, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Well, what's wrong? I thought you could do burpees, bro. I'm knocking out 250 a day.
Damn.
And I'm like 228 right now. I got all the way down to 210 this last summer. I just leaned up, I was like, that's too small.
Yeah.
My ribs were here. I don't need to move after that. I'm used to being 250, 280.
Yeah, I'm back down to 165 right now. Like I was at 180 when I was lifting with Steve, but I was like, it was too big for me. Like with yoga and running, I was just like, I couldn't do that.
Hard to move.
Exactly.
I like my 185 mark. Like I have a bigger rib cage
Yeah,
as
your
well.
rib cage is
I
big.
can get up to 210 and feel good, but it's a lot of weight to push around right now.
Well,
Also a lot of food.
It's a lot of food. I was down to 160 and that was too light.
Yeah.
I got to 210 and everyone's like, you're stage ready. Blake's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm not on it. I'm eating and working all day. Like, I train 3 days a week. And I'm like, it's food. But then I'm like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, look, I got fucking AIDS. I'm like, this is too small for me.
That's how I
And I
felt.
bulked up to 245 and kept abs and everything. I was big as fuck at 245 lean, but the amount of food I have to eat, timing of my food, the amount of burpees and cardio I have to do to stay lean while doing all that, it's just, I'm old, bro. I'm 39. Shit, I'm good.
Hey, you're looking good for 39, man.
It's because I don't drink and smoke and drugs.
See, and that's where I'm like, I feel like more people should take like what you like when you say shit because like you've like
I've lived it.
you've lived it, so
I
it's
have
just
no
like.
reason to lie to anybody.
Exactly.
I'm trying to better for everything.
So I'm like, if I know that you're in this position, you say not to do these things, and it'll help me avoid that position. I'm gonna listen to you and not do those things.
This kid here, you're here all the time in the mornings, and he's asking me a question the other day. He's like, I'm 167, I want to get to 180, like, up your carbs and the protein. Up your protein by 10 grams a day. Up your carbs. What do you got right now? He's like 125. Like, hey, you're growing with 125 grams of carbs. He's like, yeah. I'm like, there you go. Going to 200. He's like, well, I don't want to get fat. I'm like, why are you asking me all these questions?
If you're not gonna do it,
You want to
yeah.
argue, get a girlfirend, bro.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to do it.
No.
I'm not here to argue with you. If you want some advice, I'll tell you. I don't know how it works. It doesn't. I don't know. This is the world we're in. All these poor kids. They eat the sun. These kids the other day, I was blasting my arms. and my arms still stay pretty big, and they're like, how the fuck do you, are your arms like that? So like a 15, 20-pound dumbbell, like time under tension, food, moving it slow, hands and back, just different routines. And they're like, I'm running SARS, neck, and trim test. Like, you're gonna die, you live my dog shit.
That's the thing. It's just a matter of like they just don't put in the time. It's just the whole instant gratification because you've been lifting for I'm guessing 20 plus years or something like that.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
went
it's
to
just
prison
like
at 18. I went to prison at 185 pounds, and I got out at 260. Man, no gear there, shitty food.
Yeah.
And all I did is 1,000 burpees a day, 1,000 pull-ups every day, and jog when I was outside.
Yep.
That's all I did is eat.
Yeah.
I got a job in the kitchen, so I just throw 100 eggs and boil them, eat as many eggs as we could, eat as many potatoes as we could, just go to your salad. That's all they had to do. Kept you out of trouble, but it worked. That's why I use prison work.
I mean they're legit. Like that's why I feel like you see guys
There's a reason why
that
some
go,
guys
yeah,
in prison look fucking
That's why
huge.
90% of them dudes come out of there
Looking
more
better
chill
than they had.
Anybody on gear, and they don't have protein, they don't have gear, they don't have anything good, they don't have any good equipment. When you have nothing else to do but eat right, do the best you can, put in the work. Put in the work so it all comes. All this is the easy part. This is the hard part.
Yep.
And timing of the food and carbs. Like you got carbs an hour before you work out, immediately after. Other than that, just eat vegetables. Vegetables, I don't eat red meat.
You don't eat red meat? Why is that?
All I eat is like, my boy shot a deer this year, and I bought half of the friends, all eat that. Then my buddy raised an elephant by it, like that and stuff, in Buffalo, bison. And I bought some of that because I didn't know where it came from when I was raised. The red meat in the store, my boys are butchers, they showed me pictures, and they asked me to told me, and I'm like, well, I don't eat that.
You're out.
It's not normal. Meat's not supposed to be. I come from a farm. Meat is not fucking red. When you see the cow cut it open, it's purple. It's not red. It dies. Then they cut the best parts of the meat out for the richer people. They get all that. And then all the other stuff, they put this bowl over there, a red mixing bowl with an arm. Dump meat glue in there. It's powder.
That's what the ground meat
and
is.
they spin it together. You get steaks. So they'll take pieces of steaks, mix it in there for 5 minutes, put it in packs, cryo back with dies. And the next day, you can't tear it, you can't tell. People are eating it. That's why it's called the Food and Drug Administration. They feed you the shit food, put you on the drugs for this drug, this drug, this drug, this drug. Then you're broke.
So do you eat chicken?
Yeah, but I buy it from a farmer in Sedalia. This hippie dude smokes blunts all day. He's got 60 acres. He's got 1,000 chickens in a row. He smokes his blunt at night, shoots them back in. So I buy it all from him.
How much is that? Is that expensive? Is that?
It's like $10 a chicken to buy for a whole
Can I
chicken.
get that number?
Possibly. Probably worth something out there because
I've been looking.
last
I've been
month he
looking
was
for
short.
some because I was buying meat from like Kroger, King Super up there. I started feeling really shitty,
Yeah.
and so I was like, all right, let's go one up. Let's go to Trader Joe's. I'm like, it's better. It still wasn't there. Go to Whole Foods. It's okay.
The Whole Foods have that whole blast that they're not eating Whole Foods.
Exactly. And so now I've been going to Tony's Market up here, Tony's Meat
Yeah,
up here,
yeah.
and I'm like, all right, it's better, but it's
Tony's is a little bit better. I could eat Tony's.
it's
I could eat Tony's.
it's just fucking expensive. It's just expensive. So I've been trying to find. I'm like, where can I go to a farmer that has the
Fuck, yeah.
bison, the actual cattle, or the chickens? Just be like, chop the fucking head off and give it to me. Like,
They come, I had to feather and shit. He does all of it. It's like 15 or 16 bucks a chicken. But it takes them forever. The time they hatch at his place, it's 4 to 6 months till they're ready to go in their normal. The shit we're buying in stores, the time it hatches is 38 days, so it's solid.
big difference.
Hormone free and all that. I don't believe it. In my house, I put a reverse osmosis system on the water, so I tested it. There's some nasty shit in the water. I drank the water. It's supposed to clean. And then I put it through a filter still, and then I drink it. Because the estrogen in 1 8-ounce glass of water, there's microplastics, 100 teaspoons. There's hair follicles. There's antidepressants. There's graphene oxide.
Probably some form of E. coli in there.
I didn't test it with diseases. That kind of shit. I just like metals and
Okay.
medications. But like, that's graphene oxide stays in your body and bonds with metals. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist, but like the jab, the shot, they say it works with graphene oxide bonds together in your body to make you watch what you're doing. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen it enough research behind it.
I'm not gonna put it past
I
them.
wouldn't
I
be
mean,
surprised. So yeah, I'm super weird about it. Like the kids, like they're not minding the range, but like we're with us 5 days, 6 days a week. Like last night, our son's being a little fucked. He's like, I don't want chicken and broccoli. I'm like, then no fucking eat.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, peanut butter and jelly. I'm like, what peanut butter and jelly? I throw that shit the fuck away. Dog shit. Absolute dog shit. You gotta calm down, bro. The last guy that did that went with one eye.
So I went to the right, you always go to the left.
Yeah, no.
He's learning.
Food is the key thing to it all. And this is good. We were working at the day, these kids are doing like back pull downs like this. They're like moving so much weight. I'm like,
You're using your hips.
my back's way bigger than yours. I'm just doing 35 pounds, bro. Time under tension, squeezing out, breaking tension. Like, when you try to tell them, they get offended.
Yeah, I've been telling a couple of people, I'm like, don't use the weight that I'm using, use the weight that you yourself can use. Like, it's just 10 times easier.
Well, kids doing triceps like this. I'm like, what, so what are we working out? So there's one kid doing lat pull like to here, and I'm like, listen, hook it here, and just pull it here, and only here, half reps of tension that you pump those lats. He's like, I don't usually use this, I usually do regular weights. How the fuck do you work your lats out like that using regular weights? I'm just confused.
I've never seen
trying
it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just telling you. And now I'm just done. Like, fuck you. You want to work out like that? Fuck, trash your body.
It's the whole unsolicited advice, or like asking for advice and not implementing it, or using it. Like, it's never made sense.
Then don't ask me. Leave me alone. I try to be nice to everybody.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Just be a good person.
Because I was gonna say, if you want to be a fucking idiot, I'm gonna treat you like one.
Love it.
It's like, hey, you know, like, bro, other shit. Like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Get to a manageable weight where you feel it, then see how it works.
So, so,
I can get it on here for this cheap. And the reason things are cheaper, bro, I work for a clinic.
Uh-huh.
I'll get you to a medical grade. You only need 1 IU a day, safely. That's what you want.
was she doing construction though too?
I still do.
Okay.
Big ass estimation.
That's what I was
only
thinking.
work 6-7 months out of the year doing that. I'm just fine.
Yeah.
But I also work for a doctor's office now, telehealth for hormone peptides.
Were you bored or what?
Huh?
Were you bored?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get bored in the way.
I get bored.
I
feel
feel
that.
this is my second time here today. So like, what am I gonna do? I sat home, ate my meals.
It's
I'm
funny
like,
shit. I sit here at 11:30 and I sit here at 4 o'clock too. I'm like,
I'm coming back. I got knock out some light shoulders and more cardio.
yeah.
I just gotta make sure I eat enough food so I come here 2 bars a day. Just try to lose the results.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing any more burgers today. I did 265 today and I was dying.
Yeah.
You know Joe L, mental health fitness dad, on YouTube. He does like life coaching and meal plans.
I don't think I'm.
He's all over YouTube.
Yeah.
Instagram.
I think I've seen him.
Taller than dude.
Yeah.
Nice. He does a podcast. His last podcast was like 63,000 people live watching it. And he's like, let's do one doing burgers. I'm like, all right, 300. I'm like, fuck myself. I'm like, fuck.
So he does his podcast live, like at the gym, then type of thing.
No,
Or
not
is
he'll
he-
do them live. Like, he has a background for certain people all over the rich motherfuckers.
Yeah.
He got in good with like Wes Watson. He did 10 years in prison. 6 months of me and now he's making $30,000, $150,000
Yeah.
life coaching.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that's not an excuse, you fucking bitch. You either fucking do it or you fucking I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Either you're a doer or you're a dozer. Right? It's a painting game.
Yeah. Maybe I've been too nice with the people that I've been trying to coach.
No, that's don't be so nice. Be nice at the end and be like,
I also look at it, I'm like, I want to get that, like, I want to help them build the habit and not just like have temporary success type of thing. Like, I'd rather have them have like long-term success.
see, he's got so many people watching that Wes Watson thing that his house Steve bought was $36 million. He's got 18 Ferraris, custom Bentleys, Rolls. It doesn't matter. He sells.
Too much money he knows what to do with.
Well, he started out doing mastermind conventions where he speaks, it's all catered, you come down for 3 days. It was $10,000 a seat, 10 seats. Now he's doing 100 seats for $50,000 a seat. Sells out in 3 days.
Yep. He asked me the question earlier. He's like, his skills or experience better? And I was just like, I don't know which one, because he probably had to have the experience first, but he also had the skill. That's what I said too.
It was like
Yeah.
one of the main points of our idea. Yeah.
I think both. You'd have to, like 50-50, skills and experience.
It's just how you get the experience, because like with him, like he can be speaking on stage because he has the skills, but how to get the experience to do the first speaking gig.
And he talks about that. Wes Watson, look him up on Instagram, watch all those things. And he's like,
Wes Watson.
I sat in a
Okay.
cell for 10 fucking years. I was the first one up every day, did my routine every day. He's like, all of those thoughts you have in your head, fucking do them. Don't fall fucking back on them.
Yeah.
He's like, that's bitch shit.
Yep.
It tells you in your face. He had a bunch of guys out at his tennis courts doing burpees that are prison workouts. This guy's like, I can't do it. He's like, you're a fucking punk bitch. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. He's like, you're done. Done.
Get out of my seminar.
You want to fucking quit? Get the fuck out.
It's kind of like military training at that point in time. Like,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
yeah.
You want to ring the bell, you can leave anytime.
Yeah.
You just got to ring the bell.
That's it.
But like, I'll be like, I'll give you all the fucking shit that I can, but like, you're
That's
the
why
one
I
that
just slow
quits.
down. You know, like, okay, slow control, slow control, breathe. Today was a little rough. I was tired. I didn't eat enough yesterday. That's my problem. I'm fucking up.
Yeah, I need to eat some food too. I haven't been eating nearly as much as I should be, but
Well, I paid $1,000 for that, so I already made 5 times that back. Like making a meal plan. I had waited what their goal is, calculates it all for me. Then I got to put it in formats: meal 1 through 6, meal 1 through 4. What I'm trying to do exactly how many ounces of chicken, how many carbs, what fats to use, and then a paragraph below each meal. What you sub out in place of that. But I get the money back, $300 a meal plan.
really? For a month?
You can do it 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
And then change it and see where you're at.
Oh well.
But I do it for like 100, like friends I do it for $100. That's what basically all of this is.
And you're writing them out yourself, or you have a
I
program
have a
that does it?
program. I put the height, weight, and what the goal is.
Yeah.
It tells me exactly what they need. Then after that, I put it all in letterhead form. Meal 1, 160 grams of chicken, 100 grams of basmati rice, or 150 grams sweet potato, half an oven avocado.
Do you keep them accountable with them eating the things, or you just give them and they'll
I
let?
give it to them, and I'm like, you want it to work, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm not your coach. I mean, there's 3 people I do train right now. One dude, this kid is 20. He went from 167 in the last month. Following his meal plan I gave him, 167 flat. He's 183 and diced his stuff.
Really?
And he's on nothing. Just working out. Like I told him, I never do it. You know, I never like leg day. We did legs earlier. I put one plate on the leg press, and he's like, that's loaded up. I'm like, no, let's watch. Bringing it all the way down past to your chest, negative up 7. I mean, you can't get to 10. You have to hit. I said, grab it. I'm like, I told you. It ain't about being late. Time under tension. You never like fully like I say, lat pull. If you will reach way up, hold it here, come down to your chest to here, squeeze, and about here. And squeeze. Never break tension. You're gonna grow way more. 100%. You come here and you break tension, you're losing ability.
Exactly. Dude, that was a good episode. I liked it. Thanks for coming on and chatting for a second. I like the wisdom, dude.
Thank you.